Well, if you want to listen to the end of the cricket, that is over on 5 Sports Extra 2. But here on 5 Sports Extra with me, Vicky Sparks, we are going to turn our attention to England's Lionesses. Welcome to the City Ground. Welcome to Nottingham on this cloudy, chilly March day, as England prepare to take on Iceland in the second of their Women's World Cup qualifiers. The back-to-back European champions are bidding to reach Brazil in 2027 as they look to win their first ever World Cup. And they got off in the end to a very good start on Tuesday away in Turkey to Ukraine. It finished 6-1 to England. Here, Iceland, though, will be a different test. England still favourites for this one in a group that also includes Spain, the side that they lost to in the World Cup final 2.5 years ago, the side that they beat for European glory in Switzerland last summer. And with only the winners of this group qualifying automatically for the World Cup next summer, it is imperative, absolutely imperative, that England do not slip up here this lunchtime at the City Ground against Iceland. Well, ahead of this game, I've been speaking to the England manager, Sarina Wiegman, and we began by reflecting on that eventually comprehensive win over Ukraine.
I was happy with how we played. Of course, the first half we wanted to score goals and we wanted to score more goals, and we were still 0-0 at halftime. But what we were trying to do was really good. We just had to change pictures a little bit more and better, which I mean that, you know, having some rotations, having crosses from different areas and being connected in front of the goal and being more composed, things like that. Because we did get the chances, but yeah, we got blocked a lot. And so we had a conversation about that on the pitch, because I thought how we played and how we were connected was really good. And you could also see that if we would lose the ball, that the whole team was on it and we wanted back straight away. So the second half we did a lot better and we put it to bed. And of course we were frustrated about the goal we conceded, because that was very unnecessary. But that's a big learning.
Is there perhaps an added danger when it comes to facing Iceland that they've got nothing to lose? They'll have known when the draw came out that, you know, England and Spain are the clear favourites to win the group. But they are a side who have been to the last 5 Euros in a row. They've got players that do play at the top level across Europe. And actually for them, this perhaps tag of being dark horses in this group, that's something that can give them a little bit more freedom with which they play.
Yeah, I think so, but we have that all the time. So whenever who's in front of us, they really want to beat England. I've never experienced anything else, and even more after winning the Euros in 22, making the final 23, and now winning the Euros again. Yeah, we are. They're trying to chase us, but we are still want to chase more too. So that's the world we live in, and we just have to make sure, what are we going to do to be at our best?
And just finally, it's a sellout crowd here in Nottingham at the City Ground. When it really gets going, it can be a real cauldron of noise. How excited are you, and how much of a difference can that make just to the feel of this game?
Yeah, we've never been, this generation, and including myself, we've never been here before. So we're going out on the pitch after this chat. So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for tomorrow with this sellout. And yeah, the fans coming to watch us all the time, we never ever take it for granted. And they're a massive help and support. And yeah, that does bring extra energy.
Well, you can hear that extra energy here at the City Ground. Sarina Wiegman, who in a few moments' time will be walking out of the tunnel just away to my left-hand side and into the dugout in front of us. The England flag is laid out, the red and white, the Iceland flag as well. The red and white cross on the dark blue background ahead of us. And we are almost ready to go. Kick-off 11 minutes away here on 5 Sports Extra. Another huge game for England's women as they take on Iceland in this Women's World Cup qualifier. And as Sarina Wiegman and I were just talking about there, it is a sellout crowd here at the City Ground. It is the first time that the Lionesses have played here in 32 years, their second visit in total. And you can tell and sense and almost taste already the anticipation from the supporters here. There are flags, there are scarves, there have been fans shouting out as the players walked in to the dressing rooms from their warm-up as Iceland's substitutes start to come onto their bench. This is a big moment for them as well. Every team in this league is guaranteed a playoff for the Women's World Cup. As we say, only one team will automatically qualify for the tournament in Brazil next summer, and Iceland, in terms of positions in the group, are ranked 16th in the world, so England and Spain very much ranked above them. Ukraine, the real underdogs, who lost 6-1 to England in Turkey on Tuesday, but Iceland were absolutely put under a huge amount of pressure in their 3-0 defeat to Spain on Tuesday. Spain actually had 34 shots on goal. They only found the breakthrough just before half-time, Spain, but it could be a similar story today. And that is why Sarina Wiegman as well in her pre-match press conference was talking about the need for patience. And they had to show that on Tuesday in Turkey against Ukraine as the fireworks start to go off here. And we can bring in the former England #1 and Five Live stalwart, Rachel Brown-Finnis. Hello, Rachel. Welcome to the City Ground. Welcome to Nottingham. The fireworks and the flames are cascading into the sky as a huge 3 lions crest is unfurled around the centre circle. How are we feeling about this one?
I'm extremely excited, Vic. It's the start, the early stages of qualifying for that World Cup next year in Brazil. We can't look too far ahead. We have to look just 10 minutes ahead of us. This game against Iceland, England were not perfect, but they were patient against the Ukraine in Turkey earlier this week. Today they'll want to tighten things up, ensure they don't get caught on a counter-attack, don't concede goals, and look to try and possibly unlock what will be a congested defence a little earlier and ease the tension at the City Ground for the fans.
Well, Sarina Wiegman is out of the dressing room. She's standing in that technical area just in front of us, and Jess Carter on the bench today as some of the England substitutes make their way out, is waving to someone in the crowd as more flames and fireworks shoot into the cloudy skies here in Nottingham. We've got 3 flag bearers away to our right and 3 away to our left as well on the edge of the penalty area, waving those red and white England flags. So before the teams walk in 60 seconds or so, let's just reflect on that team news for England. Wiegman's made 3 changes from the 6-1 victory over Ukraine in Turkey on Tuesday. Lauren James, Lucy Bronze and Esme Morgan, announced by the fireworks there, coming for Lotte Wubben-Moy, Mel Letitia and Laura Blinkiller-Brown, who will drop to the bench. Alex Greenwood misses out with a minor muscle injury again, and Grace Fisk is the other player who doesn't make the matchday 23. So Grace Clinton, who missed out against Ukraine in terms of being in the squad, and Sarina Wiegman saying that she had responded really well to that, wants to show what she can do, is working to improve. She is on the bench today, and Alessia Russo with the chance to extend her longest ever scoring run for the Lionesses. She's looking to score in the 4th game running for England, and incidentally the last Arsenal player to do that for England was Kelly Smith, all the way back in the late noughties. In terms of Iceland, they are unchanged from the side that lost 3-0 away to Spain on Tuesday. We'll dig into their side a little bit more in a moment, but Sarina Wiegman is first to applaud here at the City Ground as England and Iceland's players take to the field. Iceland led by their captain, the Bayern Munich skipper, Glodis Perla Vigersdottir. She's one of their big players. They do have players that are plying their trade at the top level in Europe and America as well. But England, the Lionesses, the back-to-back European champions, are once again heavy favourites for this one. And with Spain in this qualification group and only the winners automatically going through to the World Cup next year, they know, Wiegman knows, we know, there are no room for slip-ups as they line up in front of us, preparing for the national anthems. Iceland in the blue shirts, the white shorts and the blue socks away to our right. England in the white tops, the blue shorts and the white socks, as we prepare for the national anthems, starting with Iceland. City ground applauds the end of England's national anthem as the players go through their pre-match handshakes. Rachel Brown-Finnis, what sort of test are we expecting from Iceland, and how do England overcome that and make it 2 wins from 2 in these World Cup qualifiers?
They're very well organised, Iceland. Watching them against Spain, they made it difficult for Spain in their opening game. They've got an excellent goalkeeper in Runarsdottir. And Iceland football, they've qualified for the last 5 European Championships. They're a good team. They have a conveyor belt of talent. As small as the nation is, I lived out there for a couple of seasons and played football out there. Every girl plays football from day one. It's not, a men's sport that women are starting to infiltrate into. It is a sport for everybody in Iceland and always has been. And typical of a number of Scandinavian nations, they have been successful over the years. So organised, determined, and they'll be looking to catch on the counter. They have experience. I think that the manager has done an excellent job with the team. And in the Euros just gone, it'll be a tough, stern task for England.
Big cheers as the Lionesses break away from their pre-match photograph. The two captains, Leah Williamson and Glodis Perla Vigosdottir, are exchanging pennants in the centre circle. A couple of handshakes with referee Silvia Gasparotti, who will be taking charge this lunchtime. And before the game begins, there will be a moment of appreciation for England women's first ever number 7, Linda Hale. She played and scored in England's first ever official game in 1972 against Scotland at the age of just 18 years of age. She was a 7-time FA Cup winner with Southampton. She was a huge pioneer in this game as the players gather around the centre circle for this moment of appreciation for Linda Hale. Our thoughts very much with Linda's family and friends, and Rachel, Frank Kirby and I spoke about this ahead of the Ukraine game on Tuesday. She and you have had wonderful England careers, but it's women like Linda Hale, like the Lionesses of that early generation all the way back in the early 70s, who are always the shoulders upon which you stand.
Couldn't agree more, Vic. And a woman called Sylvia Gore, who was also in that first ever game against Scotland, was the woman who took me to Liverpool when I was only sort of 14, 15, and was a big part of me getting started in the game and ultimately playing for England. She unfortunately passed away before us being able to be awarded her legacy cap and her legacy number, but players like that of that era absolutely are the foundation of the Lionesses.
And what wonderful achievements this current crop have built on that foundation. The back-to-back European champions looking to win the World Cup next year for the very first time in the women's game, and looking to make it 2 wins from 2 in this qualification campaign as Alessia Russo gets things underway here at the City Ground. We'll take you through the full lineups in a moment. 3 changes in all for England as Leah Williamson plays the ball out to the right-hand side, and Lucy Bronze, one of those changes. Forward she goes to Lauren Hemp. Down the right she goes and now pulls it back to Lucy Bronze, who played the ball behind Jess Park, and it's thumped away at the back by Iceland, who want the free kick, and they will get one as well. The foul on the halfway line on Sandra Jessen, the top scorer for Köln in the Women's Bundesliga this season. She's got 11 goals in 21 games for them in all competitions, and they do have threats in this team, Iceland, and they have a free kick just inside their own half, playing from right to left in the bright blue shirts, the white shorts and the bright blue socks. England in the white shirts, the darker shorts with the red and white trim, and the white socks as Iceland send the free kick forward. It falls to A dangerous winger, Sveindis Jonsdottir, and she will shepherd that ball out for an Iceland throw deep in England territory. And already Iceland are sending the height forward. They do have tall players out there, and Jonsdottir has a very long throw indeed. So it's just about level with the penalty spot on the left-hand side. Jonsdottir will launch this in. It's flicked away by Lucy Bronze, kept alive on the edge of the penalty area by Andrésdóttir for Iceland, eventually away by Russo and then flicked away by Park, and in the end Russo was fouled just outside her own 6-yard box, and it's a free kick to England in their own penalty area. 90 seconds gone, goalless Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Yeah, well, 90 seconds, I think this is the potted version of the game plan for Iceland, was get bodies behind the ball when England were attacking in numbers, pump the ball long to Jessen, try and get a free kick, which she did brilliantly. She's a good focal point up there. Then from a set play, Jonsdottir launched it in, and it went well inside the 6-yard box, caused a bit of havoc, and try and get something from that. That is the Iceland game plan.
Here is Lucy Bronze, picks it up for England on the halfway line in field to Jess Park. She's got Leah Williamson there as the option and does use her. Park's just ahead of her. Leah Williamson instead will send it long, looking for the run of Russo, but she heads it out to the right-hand side. Can't find Hemp, and it's out of play for an Iceland throw midway inside their own half.
Great having Leah Williamson back at centre-half. I was watching her in a warm-up, and some of the threaded balls she was playing in the warm-up drill, you know, practicing threading it through to a number 10 or to Leslie Russo. She's got the capacity to find that ball, play it with such precision that England can play intricate short play. They've got the option to go long as well.
Offside against Sandra Jessen, so England have the free kick midway inside their own half. So let's take you through their lineups. As we say, 3 changes for this one from the side that beat Ukraine 6-1 in Turkey. Bronze, Morgan and James in for Blinkilla Brown, Vibin Moy and Letitia, who are all on the bench. Alex Greenwood out injured for this one, as she was for the Ukraine game. So England's with Hampton in goal, the back four, Bronze, Williamson, Morgan and Hines. Ahead of them, Walsh and Stanway, with James, Park and Hemp supporting Russo up top. We might see Georgia Stanway pushing up alongside Jess Park as well, and Walsh sitting deep. It'll be interesting to see where Jess Park's position is after starting wide against Ukraine, but she is more central, as we expected in the early stages here against Iceland, who've won the ball back. Jonsdottir will steer it back to Sigurdardóttir and out to the left-hand side, and Jonsdottir once again, and Sigurdardóttir will allow that ball to run all the way back to Runarsdóttir, who's in goal for Iceland, who were unchanged from their 3-0 defeat by Spain. Arnardóttir, Vigosdóttir, the captain, Sigurdardóttir and Heiðarsdóttir are their back four. Ahead of them it's Hermannsdóttir, the daughter in fact of the FA Cup winner Herman Hreiðarsson, with Portsmouth back in the day, the former Palace and Brentford player as well, made over 300 appearances in the Premier League, and footballing heritage runs strong in that family. Ida Hermannsdóttir's mother, Ragnar, in fact, is a former Iceland captain as well. With her in the midfield is Antonsdóttir and Vilhelmsdóttir, with Eiríksdóttir, Jonsdóttir supporting Jessen up front. Iceland win the throw over on the far side. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Well, with Herman Hreiðarsson, you just teed up my Iceland story very nicely.
Please dive in.
He is from Vestmannaeyjar, a little tiny island just south of the mainland of Iceland. And everybody on the island, there's only 5,000 people-ish, plays for a club called IBVF. And so Herman Hreiðarsson is from there. His family lived in Vestmannaeyjar, and so that's the team that myself and a few other England teammates went and played for in the summer after we finished our play for Everton. It was at the time for myself. Go out and lived in Iceland for 2 seasons, which was about 6 months at a time. And we'll continue that story when the action's down.
We'll continue shortly, because Iceland have just stopped a promising England attack in the centre of their half. Antonsdóttir will steer it all the way back to Cecilia Runarsdóttir. England's just taking up positions outside the Iceland penalty area with Alessia Russo and Jess Park. But this just exemplifies early on in this game, Rachel, 5 minutes gone, 0-0. Serena Wiegman saying, coming into this one, England might have to be patient, as they had to be against Ukraine, where it was 0-0 and they ended up winning 6-1, all the goals in the second half, as Hemp wins the throw. But this is a very different prospect and challenge to Ukraine, because Iceland have come here to get something, no doubt about it.
They have, and they know they've got the armoury, because they've the physicality that they have up front with Jessen, among other players. is exceptional and can and will cause England problems. I like what England have done though. Leah Williamson is the one who's putting the pressure on Jessen when the ball's been pumped up, stepping out of that back line. England are almost 4-1, 4-1 in setup. So they'll have players to go forwards and plenty defensively to deal with what Iceland will throw at them.
So Iceland win another throw, third of the way inside their own half, just in front of their technical area. And you had a good time in Iceland, didn't you, when you played there for a couple of years?
It was fantastic. Festivals and puffin. We ate puffin, was the main source
You
of...
ate puffin?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you meant you saw a puffin. That was going to be a nice story.
Billions of them, yeah, sorry. But that was the main source of protein on the island, fish and puffin. I was part-time footballer, so got paid for that, but then cut people's lawns as the other half of my job. Me and my teammate Sammy Britton went off in our pickup truck, had a list of streets and numbers on our council list, and went off and cut the gardens, put our stuff away, and then caught a puffin, and then went off to training.
What a life.
Yeah.
What a life.
The other
Rachel
girls worked in the
Bradford.
fish factory. That was pretty much the main industry on the island. But, you know, for any young footballer, take an opportunity, however wild, wonderful, weird it may seem.
And Lauren James might take this opportunity here, cutting in field. Lovely ball out to the right-hand side, and Lucy Bronze down to the byline. She goes, did she keep that ball in? No. Just didn't manage to cross the ball before it trickled out of play. Assistant on this near side flags. It will be an Iceland goal kick, but what a ball by Lauren James.
Yeah, I think one of the first times she's actually touched the ball, Lauren James, but the quality of that pass was exceptional, and that's why Lauren James is on the pitch. Lauren James on the left currently, Jess Park in the 10 position, George Stanway just behind her, and then Lauren Hemp starting out on this right-hand side. All will interchange at some point, no doubt. And that's what England need to do, is not be predictable to the back line of Iceland. 3 centre-halves for Iceland, 2 full-backs will make it really difficult to play through.
Well, that goal kick has been charged down, and here goes Alessia Russo into the penalty area. Got the shot away under pressure, dragged it across that 6-yard area, and it's smothered by Cecilia Runarsdottir. 0-0.
Yeah, really poor kick from the goalkeeper. Alessia Russo first onto it.
And again, that's not good distribution, but she does just find Sigurda Dottir. Will be played out to this left-hand side by Hermannsdottir, and then forward over the top, looking for the run of Jonsdottir, but the offside flag is up on the far side. England did manage to clear it anyway. Lucy Bronze has taken that free kick nowhere near where the offside is, but the Italian referee Silvia Gasparotti has allowed that to go, as Lauren Hemp will keep the ball in on this right-hand side and plays it now to Esme Morgan just inside the England half. It's goalless, 9 minutes gone.
Yes, and did really well actually to stop Lucy Bronze marauding down that right-hand side, was quickly on to that quick free kick. England are looking sharp, purposeful. They want to get off the mark earlier than they did in the last game against Ukraine. Second half changes made sure that happened.
And it's interesting, in possession they're slotting into a 3 at the back, so it's Hines, Morgan and Williamson, with James and Bronze almost playing as wing-backs, although Hines is getting forward a little bit now. Bronze in possession on this right-hand side. Here's Leah Williamson, plays the ball into the area. It's a good delivery, and the header into the side netting at the far post by Lauren James. 0-0.
Yeah, decent ball from Lucy Bronze, just kind of stands it up, sets it back for Leah Williamson. Talked about the quality of her ball. Saw Lauren James needed to go back across the keeper, really, Lauren James, for it to have a devastating effect. But yeah, when you've only marking really one at the back, going back to your lineup, you can have one pressed tight, which Leah Williamson's doing to Yes, and Esme Morgan then covers. And then when England are in possession, either Lucy Bronze or Taylor Hines can go, and sometimes both can go.
Really good pressing from England, and they've won it on the edge of the centre circle by Esme Morgan, who steers it back to Taylor Hines. But Williamson there was almost outside the Iceland penalty area with that press.
Yeah, she's sticking really tight to Yes. With a team where you know that our quality, England's quality, is better, player for player across the pitch. If you don't match the intensity and the desire and the work rate, then Iceland will get an edge. They'll get a little bit of hope. And England so far have matched that intensity.
Ball given away by Williamson, but she's won it straight back. Here is Jess Park. Now back to Kira Walsh. Exchanges passes with Lucy Bronze on the halfway line as the Iceland manager, Thorsten Halderson, watches on. He's been in charge for a good few years now, all the way back in 2021. Former Iceland youth international was appointed as Lauren James has it on the left-hand side. That's a lovely ball looking for Alessia Russo. Did she commit the foul? No, she didn't. She's got it down by the byline, slides the ball across. It's just in front of Hemp, back in by Lucy Bronze. What a chance that was for England. Hemp almost there for a tap-in, but the ball just in front of her as England work it back to halfway. And now in field to Taylor Hines midway through the Iceland half. 0-0 somehow.
Oh, what a break that was. Excellent play from England. Lucy Bronze, after Lauren Hemp slides in and can't quite make contact.
And Lauren James is looking again for Lucy Bronze. That ball into the area, cleared away by Iceland, picked up by James once more, who's drifting into this central position and is starting to have a real influence on this game.
Yeah, you see Lauren James drifts in and Georgia Stanway goes out on the left to ensure that England have got a wide option to spread out that back line of Iceland, make it difficult. The recognition from Georgia Stanway and Kira Walsh of what they need to do to best allow the likes of Lauren James and Jess Park, Lauren Hemp to be able to do the best that they can do in an attacking sense. That's a really important synergy that England have got to have.
Here is Lucy Bronze, exchanges passes with Hemp down this right-hand side and now drives in field to Jess Park, 30 yards out, pulls it back to Taylor Hines as the blue shirts of Iceland drop deep. And England work it out to the left-hand side. In field now to Lauren James, who will find Leah Williamson. Hemp wants it out on that right-hand touchline and she's found by the England captain, Leah Williamson. Hemp to send it in, left-footed, a great ball, and Russo met it but couldn't get the power and bobbles the shot right into the grass of Cecilia Runasdottir, 0-0.
Well, that is such a let-off for Iceland. Russo should be putting this in the back of the net. It's an absolute beauty of a ball from this right-hand side from Lauren Hemp on her left foot. Curls it in. And it's a tap-in for Russo. She'll be frustrated that hasn't gone in the back of the net.
As we say, she's in her best goal-scoring form for England, looking to score in the fourth game running as Georgia Stanway goes down, wins a free kick under pressure from Hermannsdottir. Scored a quick-fire brace in the second half against Ukraine and just completely miscued that.
Yeah, but what England have to, we are 13 minutes into this game and they've already created a number of goal-scoring, gilt-edged chances. Yes, the score remains 0-0, but they're carving them open with having Lauren Hemp staying really wide. The back line of Iceland is staying relatively central, and that allowed Lauren Hemp to dribble towards goal before whipping that ball in. If the Icelandic defender does step out, it creates a gap for Jess Park and Lauren James to run into. They're causing the Iceland defence problems.
Rachel Brown-Finnis, former England #1, with us here on 5 Sports Extra in this Women's World Cup qualifier live from the City Ground in Nottingham. 14 minutes gone, 0-0. As Lauren Hemp chests the ball down, flag stays down. Lucy Bronze has made the run, but she's not found. Finds Stanway instead, just outside the D, and now lays it off to Lauren James. Nice ball to Taylor Hines, who will pull the ball across. Almost fell to Walsh on the edge of the area, but swiped away at the last minute by Vilhelmsdottir for Iceland. But England are starting to take a real grip on this game as they win a throw over on the far side.
Yeah, lovely link-up play between Lauren James and Taylor Hines. Taylor Hines just didn't quite look up precisely enough to be able to, and then play the ball precisely enough to open up Iceland. But the first time we've seen Taylor Hines overlapping down that left-hand side, excellent pace. The move to Arsenal has really cemented her place. Great to see young players like that progress through the under-17s, 19s, 23s. The pathway for England is real. They're successful at youth teams. And that, the way that Serena Wiegman now ensures the 23s train alongside the senior team, will kind of look at the 23s, will progress players into their training sessions. It's such a successful pathway that has been built over this last 20 years for England.
Good spell this for England here against Iceland. They've won a free kick midway through the Iceland half, just about level with that left-hand side of the penalty area. Jess Park getting a little push in the back from Antonsdottir, going down Georgia Stanway stands over this set piece for the Lionesses. The white shirts of England on the edge of the penalty area, a wall of bright blue Iceland tops intermingled among them. Stanway raises her right arm in the air. The referee blows her whistle. England looking for the breakthrough here in Nottingham. It's high into the area from Stanway. Bronze goes down under not too much pressure. Williamson can't make contact at the far post, and it's an Iceland goal kick.
Lucy Bronze just gets her footing a little bit wrong, timing to be able to push off and leap to connect with that header. Well marshalled. She was certainly not a free header. Plenty of Icelandic defenders around her. But the free kick was awarded, ball to Jess Park, and what Jess Park does so well, receiving the ball on the half turn and looking to threaten and go forwards.
Again, it's not good distribution from Cecilia Runnarsdottir, and England win the ball back midway through the Iceland half. In the end, Hermannsdottir will come over and win it back for Iceland and plays it out to the right-hand side, and Eriksdottir, but England have won it. And here goes Taylor Hines, edge of the penalty area. Iceland sloppy in possession at the moment. Now Lauren James, left-hand side, digs out the cross. It's Hemp, it's off the post, and it's hacked away to safety. Relatively, another England corner. England hit the woodwork, and Lauren James is running the show on the left.
What a ball this is for Lauren James. She just takes her time. Again, Iceland do not press the wide player and allow delivery in. This time to Lauren Hemp. Just on the 6-yard box, point blank header, and she shakes her head in disappointment at not getting the opener for England. Results in a corner. But England should at least be 2, if not 3 goals up at this point in the game.
Oh, Runnarsdottir was stranded. It was a huge opportunity for Lauren Hemp. Herdersdottir just did enough to put her off, but you can see, as we see a replay of Serena Wiegmann's reaction, she was not mightily impressed with that, shall we say. The England manager, as the corner is whipped in to the edge of the box, it's Lucy Bronze, but she can't control. And Jonsdottir will hack clear out of play for an England throw, and then raises the hand, slightly of apology to her teammates, because actually she had a little bit more time there after Bronze couldn't bring the ball under her spell. And England now with a throw on the left-hand side, deep in Iceland territory, still 0-0, 18.5 minutes gone here at the City Ground on 5 Sports Extra. Have the chance to exert pressure on Iceland once again. But going back to the Ukraine game, I mean, England have loads of territory, some good chances in the first half against Ukraine, but it was more very good last-ditch Ukraine defending that kept them at bay there. Here, it's more England's wastefulness with the chances they've had.
So far, that's correct, Vic, yeah.
Down the left-hand side they go. They are looking dangerous every time they come forward. And Lauren James will force a corner once again.
I feel England are looking sharper than they did in the Ukraine. In the final third, when it's really congested, you have to move the ball exceptionally quick. Your decision-making has to be quicker. You're thinking a move ahead, so when you're receiving it, you already know where the ball's going to go. You've taken a mental picture of where the players are and where they're going to move into. That looks sharper today than it was against the Ukraine.
Well, they knew England, they'd have to step it up because Iceland are a higher calibre opponent. They are still the big favourites for this game. England, can they find the breakthrough here? They've got a corner on the far side. 19.5 minutes gone. Lauren Hemp is waiting in the 6-yard box. Got the likes of Russo and Hines and Williamson up from the back. Here comes the corner. Swung to the far post. Lucy Bronze is going to meet it and volleys wide.
Wow, it's 2 corners in a row where it's been exactly the same. Georgia Stanway, diagonal ball with real pace to Lucy Bronze. This time she gets the right connection, just drifts wide, full volley. But I like that. The traffic, the defensive traffic, is drawn to the centre of the 6-yard area, and it left Lucy Bronze free.
She is winning her 145th cap today for the Lionesses, Lucy Bronze, as they win a throw just inside the Iceland half on the far side. If they do qualify for the World Cup, it would be her 9th major tournament in all with England and Team GB, if you count the Olympics as well, which I know people very much do. Big tournament in the women's game. As Iceland chest the ball down on halfway. It's played forward by Hermannsdottir, well cut out by Esme Morgan. Exchanges passes with Georgia Stanway. Wasn't the best pass back to her by Stanway, but Morgan just gets there under pressure from Jonsdottir and steers it back to Hannah Hampton, who has had absolutely nothing to do so far, 0-0.
Vicky, they don't just stand there and look good in goal. You're constantly marshalling and talking and organising. A lot of your work as a goalkeeper is preventative work, and she's done that exceptionally well.
Here come England down this left-hand side. Former England number 1 Rachel Brown-Finn is with us as James plays the ball into the area. Lucy Bronze is there! And England are there with the breakthrough at last. To say it's been coming would be an understatement. And of course, Lauren James, who is running the show down that left-hand side, is involved again. Beautiful ball in for Lucy Bronze, who loops the header into the top right-hand corner. And England deservedly had the breakthrough against Iceland, 1-0.
Brilliant play. As you mentioned, Lauren James, key to unlocking the defence of Iceland, and it was brilliant from Georgia Stanway. Georgia Stanway and Kira Walsh have said that their role is absolutely key to getting the best out of Lauren James and Jess Parkin and Lauren Hemp. And Georgia Stanway found the best place to be was on that left-hand side, because what it does, it creates the space. It either drags out the defender and creates the spaces between the defenders. It creates a space for Lauren James to pick out a little dink and hang up of a ball, which allows Lucy Bronze to time her run, to come late and fast and power through Jessen, who was trying to stop Lucy Bronze. And the looping header into the top corner gives England a fully deserved lead.
And on her 145th cap for England, she has her 23rd goal for her country. England's Player of the Year for last year. And what a popular goal scorer as Iceland have it on the left-hand side, just inside the England half.
I mean, she is mega. She'd be play top trump, she'd be 10 out of 10 on everything. And if she wasn't, she'd be working hard if she knew that she wasn't 10 out of 10 on everything. She is a genuine legend of the game. We played in there, I think it was the last time we played in Ukraine in 2014 in Lviv. Lucy Bronze was playing then, still playing now, still scoring now, still getting better.
Here come Iceland down this right-hand side. England with the breakthrough through Bronze. So Iceland looked to hit back. Jonsdottir. Leah Williamson got the foot in. She's appealing that it got a touch off Jonsdottir, and the assistant on that far side agrees. Jonsdottir looks absolutely devastated by that. Well, I think it is an England goal kick.
Yeah, Williamson's been working on her acting skills. It was a very convincing claim for a goal kick that the referee took, and Jonsdottir poker face from Leah Williamson. Actually, we're watching the replay, and it is a goal kick.
Well, it's an interesting one because it comes off Jonsdottir and Williamson almost at the same time, and it's who gets that actual final touch. So I think both of them have known that it's come off the other player at some point. But anyway, it's gone with England, it's gone with Williamson. And Lauren James has been dispossessed over on that left-hand side and has won the ball back immediately with a good tackle. It spins away to Iceland, though, and here is Jonsdottir. Oh, lovely back heel. And Iceland work it back to their own half, which gives me a chance, and I make no apologies for it. Can we just again reflect on Lotte Wibben-Moy's back heel against Ukraine that was cleared off the line? We spoke to Alessia Russo about it yesterday for 5 Live, and I think I said in commentary it's got shades of Russo against Sweden from the Euros in 2022, and Russo said that she very much enjoyed seeing Lotte Wibben-Moy do something that she doesn't think at Arsenal or England level she's ever seen Wibben-Moy try before, which is a back heel, as Iceland have it in their own penalty area.
This team is capable of anything, and each player inspires each other. And as ad hoc and innovative as it was for Alessia Russo, I think Wibben-Moy's been secretly practicing that since that Sweden game.
Just not let Alessia Russo see her do it, as the ball is back with Hannah Hampton. And it's a fair point, Rachel Brown-Finn, in terms of saying that Hampton's had nothing to do. She's had no saves to make, but of course, as a goalkeeper, you are always alert to what's going on, and in terms of distribution as well, can you spring something as England once again find Lauren James over on the left-hand side. It's just ahead of Russo and cleared away by Vigos-Dottir. Will be kept in by Taylor Hines, but England leading by a 0-0 midway through this first half on 5 Sports Extra.
Going back to your goalkeeper point, particularly in a counter-attack game, as in a team that will pretty much only get the chance to hurt you on a counter-attack. You have to be on the front foot.
Here comes Lauren James again. Space is closed down by Iceland, but she does dig out the delivery, and Lauren Hemp's shot on the edge of the 6-yard box is blocked away. Comes to Leah Williamson, and now Kira Walsh midway through the Iceland half. But again, another peach of a delivery from Lauren James. This is Lauren James at her very best at the moment, and she plays the ball in again. Again, slightly commentators curse, that wasn't quite as spot on for Lucy Bronze. But when Lauren James plays like this, at this level, she's a joy to watch.
Absolutely is, and the reason she's getting so much space, she's hanging really, really wide, and Iceland have got to make a decision. Arnon Dottir on that right-hand side has got to make a decision. Does she stay compact as a back five, or does she step out to Lauren James, which then breaks that back line, creates a space, the distances between Arna Dottir and Vegas Dottir becomes bigger, and then they play through. So far, they've not challenged Lauren James. And I'm not sure that's the right decision for Iceland, because Lauren James is at her best given that little half a second. She has the quality. And Lauren Hemp could have had 2, if not 3 already.
Yep, she's hit the post. She's had a couple of very good opportunities apart from that, as Rachel says. But it's Lucy Bronze's header on 21 minutes. That is the difference as we into the 27th minute of the game, and Iceland prepared to take this throw on the left-hand side. Heiðarsdóttir sends it long. It's cleared away by Lucy Bronze, flicked forward by Antonsdóttir. A couple of bounces. We'll see it fall to Sandra Jessen, and then that ball from Heiðarsdóttir back to her, straight into Lauren Hemp, who can't keep it in, slaps her hands together in frustration, and it's a throw to Iceland, right in front of their coach, Thorsten Halderson. It's led Iceland to 2 major tournaments, back-to-back Euros. They haven't managed to get out of the group at either of them, and it was a very disappointing Euros in the summer in Switzerland. They finished bottom of the group with no points behind Finland, Switzerland, the hosts, and Norway, which on paper was the easiest group. There was a real opportunity for every side in that group, and did not go to plan for Iceland. But as Rachel touched on earlier, you know, in terms of population size, both in the men's and the women's game, they certainly punch above their weight when it comes to performing and qualifying for major tournaments, as Lauren James has it in the centre circle. They've never been to a Women's World Cup though, Iceland. That is the dream. Every side in this group in League A will get a playoff at least, at worst, but only the winners go through. And England know that with Spain, the reigning world champions who beat them in the final 2.5 years ago, and the side that England beat in the Euros final last summer in the group as well, there can be no slip-ups. It's very likely to come down to those 2 games to Spain, but they've got to win both games against Iceland and the Ukraine to give themselves the best possible chance going into those games with Spain, as Iceland have the ball midway through their own half. It's played all the way back to Runnarsdóttir, taking no chances with the distribution that time, sending it towards the halfway line on the right-hand side. Cleared away by England, but Vilhelmsdóttir will pick it up and find Antonsdóttir. Iceland just, at the moment, struggling to string a few passes together and have a bit of a passage of play. And they are managing just about to do that, but Jonsdóttir's header forward is cleared away by England. In turn will be cleared away by Sigurdardóttir, just inside the Iceland half. Out to the right-hand side she goes and finds Eiríksdóttir. He's looking for the run of Jonsdóttir in behind. Well dealt with by Esme Morgan, who controls, traps the ball, plays it out left to Taylor Hines, who plays it back to Esme Morgan, who will now play it back to Hannah Hampton, who gets what must be about her first touch of the game and plays it forward now to Williamson. England 1, Iceland 0 here on 5 Sports Extra. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
What England are doing well is when Iceland have those spells of possession, they're working really hard to ensure it's not easy possession. What England have to do, they've gone 1-0 up, they need to keep that intensity up, they need to push for a second, they need to push for a third, really empty the spirit tank of Iceland and give themselves a convincing lead. They should be 3-4-0 up at this point. They're not. They've got to keep the foot on the gas.
They're in possession with Esme Morgan, finds Leah Williamson, and now Lauren Hemp. Lucy Bronze is bursting down the right-hand side, and Hemp finds her bronze. England's goal scorer back to Hemp, down to the byline, pulls the ball across, and the header goes wide. Russo is appealing for the corner, and I think it was the header from Vigelsdottir, the Iceland captain, that got there just ahead of Alessia Russo and sends it behind for an England corner, which has been given by the referee. But lovely work by Bronze and Hemp down the right-hand side. And you've got to say, that's a super header from Vigosdottir. It flicked right across goal. She knew exactly what she was doing there because Russo was right on her left-hand shoulder. And if she doesn't get that header right, it's an own goal. Or if she leaves it, Russo can nod home.
Yeah, brilliant defending. Lovely interplay between Lucy Bronze and Lauren Hemp. We've seen that with Taylor Hines and Lauren James down the left side. Less so, I would say, with Bronze and Hemp down the right-hand side. Really brilliantly marshalled by Vigosdottir. Corner in.
And here is the corner. It's Lucy Bronze again, and it bounces off the post. Runarsdottir is diving as well. She might have got something on it. It stays out either way as Walsh comes back in. Big punch by Runarsdottir and cleared away by Vilhelmsdottir, and will be picked up by Lauren James out on this left-hand side. And she'll play it forward as England still have the white shirts up. One of them's Russo Hempton there as well. And Lucy Bronze is there again, and Jonsdottir is there to make the block on the edge of her 6-yard box.
Well, she's still the main player, isn't she? Lucy Bronze, all the balls far post are going for Lucy Bronze. She just had a chance then, got across her defender, got across Jonsdottir, who tried to come back. And Lucy Bronze will be disappointed she didn't get that one on target.
Here is Jonsdottir coming down the other end, placing in field to Hermansdottir. Out to the right-hand side will be picked up by Eriksdottir. She's got Taylor Hines with her, so tries to cut in field, but Taylor Hines does really well, stays strong and dispossesses her. Just going back to that corner, having seen another replay, it was actually Russo who got the header, but the ball almost flicks off the ponytail of Vigosdottir, and the referee decides that that is enough for it to be a corner. In the end, Lucy Bronze wasn't quite able to force the ball home at the far post, and it remains 1-0 to England. James is down in the centre circle. No free kick given to England, and Jonsdottir, who is one of Iceland's star players and is enjoying the majority of the ball when they go forward, eventually dispossessed. Lauren Hemp then is fouled by Herdersdottir, and that will be a free kick to England on this wide right-hand side. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Yeah, a little bit of respite for England because Iceland had the ball for a short spell there. I just reflect on the ball, the header going wide from Russo, and then another set piece, and Lucy Bronze being the target and it hitting the outside of the post. The ball being recycled and back in, and Lucy Bronze heading again. Can't quite get it past Runarsdottir. They really are on the front foot. They're looking to take the positives from the Ukraine game and ramp it up a gear. It really does feel like that.
So just over 11 minutes to play in this first half. England leading by 1-0 thanks to Lucy Bronze's header. Here is the woman who is providing their creative spark in abundance this lunchtime. Lauren James finds Bronze out on this right-hand side. Back in field to Lauren Hemp. That's a good delivery. Punched away by Runarsdottir. It wasn't close enough to Russo, who left it. Stanway was stealing in at the far post, and Runarsdottir didn't want to take the chance and punches it behind for another England corner.
Again off this right-hand side with Lauren Hemp being left-footed. She just takes the touch infield, and then that left foot swings it in, swinging cross. And actually it's just a block from Vigosdottir who blocks Russo's run. Otherwise it would have been right on the head of Russo. Good defending once again from Vigosdottir, the Icelandic captain, but another corner for England.
And they have it over on the far side. The referee, I'm just trying to see where the referee was in her bright yellow shirt, but she's been having a little word with a couple of players in the 6-yard box. One of them is Herdersdottir. Now the corner will be taken by Georgia Stanway from this far side. So Stanway, with her right arm in the air once again, drifts the ball to the penalty spot. Jonsdottir is there for Iceland and will flick the ball clear. And they might be able to counter here. It's Eriksdottir. Nice ball in field to Antonsdottir, who's well pursued by Jess Park, who's been quiet in this central position so far for England. Eriksdottir then challenged by Kira Walsh. Lucy Bronze will win the ball away from her. Only as far as Antonsdottir. And eventually the whistle goes. It's going to be a free kick to England. Iceland are furious. And England still lead 1-0. And Lucy Bronze, I thought she was going to stay down there, but that's very unlike Lucy Bronze, isn't it? This is the woman who played the whole Euros with a fractured tibia and only told everybody after England had won it. And she's up to her feet, retrieves the ball from in front of Serena Wiegmann, and will take it back midway through England's half and get things moving again. England 1, Iceland 0 in this Women's World Cup qualifier. 10 minutes to go until the break.
It's certainly going to take more than a shove from Eriksdottir, isn't it, to keep Lucy Bronze down. But Iceland countered really well. It was 3-on-3 when they turned over possession and got the ball forward quickly. The midfielders, Kira Walsh, got back really well. Lucy Bronze done some mileage up this right side already.
It's a lovely run and field by Lauren Hemp, and a good ball to find Lauren James as well. James is going to drive. It's blocked away on that far side by Iceland and collected by Taylor Hines just inside the Iceland half. England in control. England leading by a 1-0. England very much pushing for the second as James scoops it forward to Alessia Russo down to the byline. Vigosdottir didn't quite get her feet sorted, and neither did Lauren Hemp. It's another chance for Hemp that goes begging from 4 yards out. Yes, there were other players in there, but she couldn't sort her feet out, and the ball trickles behind for an Iceland goal kick. And how Lauren Hemp has not scored at least once, twice, maybe 3 times in this first half, I'm not quite sure.
Well, I think it was Heiðarsdottir who managed to get across and almost spin Lauren James off balance. So Lauren James was just kind of almost walking the ball in from, as you said, 4 or 5 yards out, and suddenly a defender got between her and the ball and just did enough to put her a little bit off of her stride. But again, Lauren James just slaps the ground in amusement stroke frustration at not having yet got a goal.
Yeah, it's Lucy Bronze in there as well that almost put her off, as well as Heiðarsdottir. Frustrating once again for England, and Hemp as Esme Morgan plays it forward, cleared away by Vigosdottir. Heavy challenge on Georgia Stanway, but fair as Taylor Hines works it out to the left-hand side, and here is Lauren James. Good run by her, played in to the head of Vigosdottir, the Iceland captain. Georgia Stanway latches onto it on the edge of the penalty area, pulls it back to Lauren James, and then Kira Walsh once more, turning away from the blue shirts that are trying to marshal her, and steers it back to Esme Morgan, always so calm in position. Now played forward by Taylor Hines, bounces off Jess Park, who's challenged, and Iceland will win it back. Eriksdottir will help to try and clear it up to halfway, headed down by Esme Morgan and out to the left-hand side. And Taylor Hines once again, who steers it to Esme Morgan, and England have possession midway through their own half, leading by a 1-0. She has been quiet so far, Jess Park. Is that for you a consequence of the switch to a more central position rather than playing out wide, as Lauren James comes down the left once again? Rachel's thoughts in a moment, but nice little 1-2. James drives, beaten away by Runnarsdottir. Bronze won't reach that parry, and it's hacked away to safety by Iceland.
Well, the joy is coming down the wings, and therefore the central areas the wings are trying to feed, so there's no space for Jess Park to get on the ball. But what she's doing is distracting and disrupting the Iceland back line. Likes of Hermannsdottir is pretty much marking Jess Park, which is taking, a midfielder. There's going to be space around Jess Park because of her movement.
England in possession with Williamson.
I'm just going to say, she might not get on the ball as much as she wants, but she's certainly playing a key part in attacking for England.
Rachel Bamford, former England #1, here with us on 5 Sports Extra. England leading by a 0 against Iceland in this Women's World Cup qualifier. As they work it out to the left-hand side, James with the delivery once again. That time it's poor, and it's shepherded behind by Jessen, the forward who's back there defending for Iceland, and they have another set piece. Iceland, who last met England back in 2009 when they won against England by 2-0 in Colchester. That is, in fact, Iceland's only victory against England in their history. But when it comes to competition, they have never failed to avoid defeat here in a competitive game here on English soil, as Runnarsdottir, the goalkeeper, all in black, just taking her time about playing this ball out to the right-hand side. Iceland trying to draw in the England press so they can bypass it at some point. The England press is doing well, though. Georgia Stanway, until that moment, fouls Wilhelmsdottir, and it will be a free kick to Iceland over on the far side. England 1, Iceland 0. Runnarsdottir has it once again. Here is Heiðarsdottir out to the left-hand side, and now Jessen had the run of Hermannsdottir ahead of it, but it goes back to Heiðarsdottir. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Yeah, it's the first time really that Hermannsdottir has been able to think what she can do when her team have possession. Her main job has been anchoring on to Kira Walsh and Jess Park.
Nice ball forward to Eriksdottir on the right wing, who's cut in field. She's well marshalled by Taylor Hines, but lays it off nicely. And Iceland are building something here down the right-hand side. Plenty of blue shirts to aim for. Cleared away that cross by Esme Morgan. And will bounce out to that England left-hand side with Lauren James, who gets the foot in and concedes the free kick as well. So that is the most positive passage of play I think we've seen for Iceland so far. They've won a free kick, good position. Over on the far side, foul by Lauren James, and a chance again to send the height, the likes of their captain, also skippers Bayern Munich, Gladys Perla Viggersdottir, after Vilhelmsdottir won that free kick over on the far side. So, possible opportunity for Iceland to swing this set piece in. And this is where England have to be so focused, Rachel.
Have to be absolutely watertight. First phase, second phase. So if there's a knockdown, a deflection, England have to be first to it on both occasions, because this will be where Iceland will have focused on trying to capitalise.
So it's a two-player wall over on the far side for England. Lauren James and Jess Park. They're leaving the height in the penalty area as the delivery is swung in and straight into the arms of Hannah Hampton, who dives on it at her near post, and England still lead by 1-0, and that is hugely frustrating for Iceland. They have squandered that opportunity with a really poor delivery.
Yeah, a low, short corner was the opposite of what they needed. They needed a ball into the box to cause chaos. Yes, it had pace on it, but good concentration. Van Hampton gathered easily enough for her.
Taylor Hines has given the ball away, but it's won back by Lauren James. All the way back now with Esme Morgan, just inside the England half. England, who currently sits top of this group in League A. Spain will play Ukraine later and will hope to move level on points with England once again, but England still have a way to go to make sure that this is a victory. And that's a lovely ball forward to Alessia Russo inside the area, but the offside flag is up. And in the end, Russo, I think, was possibly struggling to keep that ball in on the angle, but was denied anyway by the offside flag. She did look half a yard from the immediate replay that we're seeing, but it was tight.
Wow, I was watching it live time and I've watched it on the replay. I'm still not convinced it was offside. It's a really good run from Alessia Russo. If it had gone to VAR, it would have been toenail stuff.
Yeah.
A great run from Les, just a heavy touch that took it over the byline, but an option that England have not used that much. Alessia Russo down the middle and playing on the back shoulder of Viðarsdóttir.
England in possession midway through their own half, but Iceland are just coming back into this game as we approach half-time in terms of forcing England back and getting a good chunk of possession in opposition territory. Can England find the second goal as we approach half-time? 60 seconds plus added time to play. They've certainly had the chances. A lot of them have fallen to Lauren Hemp, who's hit the post, but there have been other opportunities from close range for her as well. Lucy Bronze with the only goal so far, as Russo works it out to the left-hand side, gets it back, tries to slot it home, and can only roll the shot straight into the arms of Runardsdottir. But lovely interplay between Park and Russo there.
Really was excellent interplay. And see Jess Park down the centre, recognises she's not getting much of the ball, so drifts out just to the left side, gets on the ball ahead of Russo, able to lay it back for Russo. Bit of a tame shot, good contact, test the keeper, but not clinical enough.
Iceland have given it away, and Park's played it forward to Stanway. She's got Russo to the left and Hemp to the right, and she feeds Hemp just inside the area. Hemp going for the curler just over the bar, and it remains 1-0.
I'm getting frustrated for Lauren Hemp. Goodness knows how she feels. I mean, England are flooding numbers forward now. Georgia Stanway joining the attack, 4-player attack. Lauren Hemp once again down this right-hand side, cutting onto a favoured left foot. But can't find a target, hits it over the bar. Defenders not pressing her, giving her the time to be able to pick a spot, take the strike.
Well, I was just looking to see how much added time there was, and there's the answer. There's no added time. The referee has blown the whistle for half-time. And England lead Iceland by a 0-0. And Rachel, how would you sum up that half for England? Because they've had a lot of chances. There's been some really good play. It's just the one goal from Lucy Bronze. How do you think Serena Wiegman in particular will be assessing that performance and where England stand in this game?
Focus on the positives, the number of chances, like really good chances, not half chances, really good chances that they have created. You know, we're talking 4-5. If it was 5-0 now, you would say England, you can't argue against it. I've not seen the stats, but I'd imagine it's something like 5, 6, 7 shots on goal and certainly others off target. So England have created excellent chances. They've dominated possession. They've reduced Hannah Hampton to make possibly one gathering simple save and nothing else. So they're completely dominating the game. Serena Wiegman will tell her team we need to focus on making sure that that one remaining start that keeps Iceland in the game, which is a 1-0 advantage as it stands, they have to focus on upping that. The end product look like world champions elect, look like European champions, and finish off this team.
Rachel Brown-Finnis with us here at the City Ground in Nottingham. So England, job half done, leading Iceland in this Women's World Cup qualifier by a 0-0 at half-time. We will be back very shortly with full second half commentary here on 5 Sports Extra. But a week on Sunday, Chelsea and Manchester United face off in the Women's League Cup final at Ashton Gate as the action keeps coming in women's football here in England. United manager Mark Skinner has been looking ahead to the game with our senior women's football news reporter Emma Sanders.
It's exciting to be here. It'll be a different experience. As I said, the different experience for us will be that the FA Cup is usually at the end of the year. So it's the last thing you look forward to unless you're in the Champions League, I think, which is still before. But then we got West Ham 3 days later. So It's kind of like if you win it, celebrations are muted and you have to get on with the task at hand because of where we are in the table.
It's an interesting point, though, because if you win it and you're going into, WSL games, Champions League games afterwards, potentially, that can help you build momentum, I suppose, if it goes that way. I suppose the other way is you've got to quickly regroup after a final.
Yeah. I think it's an important point. We are a team that I think resets. If you look at our results, we reset pretty quickly. Yeah. I don't harp on or hone in on the negative of a loss. Like, I don't skirt over it. We assess it, but you can't. I know we have this thing, where you constantly harp on what's gone wrong and that's how it forces you to be better. I don't think it's a healthy space to live in. I think you have to think past that. So our aim is to try and beat Chelsea. We're playing the most incredible teams in the history of English football for wins of the WSL. So we know the magnitude of it. But our aim is to try and find a way to win that game and then go into West Ham and win regardless, because you don't get the luxury of wanting either or. You've got to go for both. So I think we're going to be fully focused on both, as we always are. But really, honestly, take it as they come. Honestly, I'm like, we'll be Chelsea first because we're talking about it, but then it'll be West Ham. So they are separate entities, but you've got to have the mindset. That's the thing I'm learning this year more than anything. With that Champions League exposure, with the rotation of team, it's my first experience with Manchester United of having to make ruthless decisions and adaptations. I listened to something the other day about Elizabeth Turland should be starting, but then when I don't rotate, people say you should rotate. And when I do rotate, they say you shouldn't rotate. And it's like, no wonder I don't listen anymore. It's just more about the focus on what's needed for the game.
It's interesting that you say that about making those ruthless decisions and learning that, obviously, as you've gone through the season. I'd imagine it doesn't make it any easier, though, for you on a human level.
In fact, harder. Even this morning, I'm having conversations with players that haven't played as many minutes as they want for whatever reason. I don't think people see that. If you were to sit in the office of one of those conversations, you'd see how much it hurts both humans on a deep level to go. Because a player thinks the reward is just solely on the minutes. And it might be fit, it might be that actually someone else is in better form, it might be... There are a raft of actually written down reasons as to why a player might or might not play. And we go to the depths of that. But because we move so quickly in life, let alone football, you just brush past the reasons as to why and how. But those are the hardest conversations I have. Honestly... The one I had this morning, I agonised over all day yesterday. Right. I then come and have the conversation today. We move forwards in whatever realm, and then you move forward to select a team to go into Champions League. So I don't have time. I have to reset the emotional, spend it, reset it, and then make decisions, because I suppose my role is, if we talk about it, I suppose my role is to be hated by somebody, right? I'm sure people appreciate what we do. You know, as you say, 4 consecutive finals in trophies, but for us, that doesn't matter when I'm in the day-to-day decision-making process. Like, the human hurts every time that you make a decision, and I don't think people understand that. I don't think they care, and that's not their job to care, but it really does hurt when you have to make decisions about people. And we're moving into a different world now, where I think the way is to explain. Doesn't mean they're always going to understand. I think you have to explain rather than just dictate. I think we're moving towards that realm, and I welcome it, but it doesn't make any conversations any easier. And
success, I guess, demands that ruthlessness from a manager. You can't reach cup finals without that. You can't. Look, you can't. I think, look, the most successful manager, Emma, obviously, by the end, she would have had players that loved her, hated her through her time at Chelsea. Yeah. But she had to win. I think you have to create the legacy of winning for the fans, for the team. I don't want to be caught into cheesy, but the line from Fleetwood Mac song, players only love you when they're playing. Yeah. It's reality, right? That's the reality. And what I say to them is, we make ruthless decisions, but it's not about the human. We never put the human at the centre of that decision of the fact we deny you that opportunity. It's more about what makes the team. And I think if you can always border on that side rather than I'm stopping you, I think you're in an okay space to sleep at night. I really do, because you just know, right or wrong, we only know that after the game, that actually you made the decision because you thought it was the best one for the team at the moment. If we were all clairvoyant and we could see the future, there's no point us doing this, because I'd have my own channel where I'm telling you what's happening next week. So it doesn't happen that way. So I take the rough with the smooth, I think, in this job. Let's chat about the ambitions of Manchester United, because you are in a cup final, going for another trophy. Fans will always demand more. Yes. Should this be the base level for Manchester United, to be reaching cup finals? Not saying that you should take that for granted, but is that where you want to be and then go one step further? I think it's a really good way of putting the question to me, because when you reach a certain level of experience in finals, you don't want to not be experiencing them year in, year out. We also know, and you'll know this as someone that's been in women's football for a long time, the leagues, we talk about the top 4, the teams behind are investing more than enough now to be as an open league again now. And I think we're bordering that. We really are. The top tier teams still spend probably the most, but I don't think you find London City will be far behind that. For example, what Michelle Kang is, she's ambitious, and I think for us though, we have to set our own markers at Manchester United. Whether you like it, or love it or hate it, like it or dislike it, we've got to compete. We've got to compete, and sometimes we have to find different ways to do so. But I'm not going to sit here and say that my job isn't to get us into cup finals and try and win them every year. All I'd ask is that if there's a season where that doesn't happen, you look at the context, because the context's really important. And if people are clever enough to see the context, I think they see that you've done a good job or you're not doing a good job. And then if you're not doing a good job, then we all know what happens in this job, right? You don't have it anymore, and we move on. One of the reasons why winning trophies for any team in the WSL has been so difficult is because of Chelsea. Yeah. They feel like they're in a vulnerable moment. Yeah. And I suppose for Manchester United going into a cup final against the defending champions of that cup, is that an opportunity for you there to see that actually they are beatable this season? They're not a team that you should fear anymore, and Manchester United can beat Chelsea? I honestly think we don't fear Chelsea. I think we respect them, because you have to. I also don't want to use this moment of vulnerability to do anything other than pretend we're playing them at their best. Prepare for their best and you can beat Chelsea. But if you don't prepare for them at their best, then you can fall well short of them, because, we all know they're an incredible team. Nobody's denying that. And I think any women's football fan would not deny that. I think what we have to prepare for, though, is that when we play them in the final, that they're all firing. Because if we can get to I have
thorough belief that if we can get to our best levels in any game, I think we can beat any team. I genuinely believe that, and I go into the game believing that. And so I'm gonna challenge my team to whatever form Chelsea are in come that final, that we are ready and that we are focused on the sole performance to win that game of football. And that's where I prefer to be, rather than think about Chelsea's vulnerabilities or so on. Champions find a way, right? And whether they can't win the league this year or not, we don't know. We've still got games in play. It's City's to lose. But with the teams that are chasing, you've just got to solely focus on yourselves. And I think Chelsea will do that. They're not bothered about Manchester United, so we won't be worried about them. We'll try and prepare for them at their best, and that's the end of that conversation. If we do that, I think we'll have a good chance.
Off the back of that, you're probably going to hate this question, but I wanted to ask, because Andre Jeglerts, obviously at Manchester City, has mentioned this a few times this season, this idea of almost like a revenge game. You've obviously lost a couple of finals to Chelsea, 3-0 in the FA Cup final, I think it was last year. So is there such thing as a revenge game? And could this final be an opportunity for you guys to not put wrongs right, but make it your turn, I guess? Yes,
I think I have to use that. I have to use that energy. What's the strange thing about if you notice, when most teams play Manchester United, they step up a gear. It's almost that you want to beat Manchester United. It's the legacy of our club, I think. I think about, I know what Andre's saying. For us, though, I think it's solely about your own performance. Like, let's be honest, we weren't in the final last year. We fell short of our standards, so we didn't deserve to win the game. As hard as that is to hear, that's the honest truth. We weren't good enough, and I think we have to learn from that. This is a different Chelsea team. We're a different Manchester United team. I think we're more experienced. I think we've got, right at this moment, good depth. Now, by the time we play the final, we've already played another 5 games, so we'll wait and see. But I think we just have to go in with the focus of, let's not be too worried about the emotional range. Let's just get to that level of energy anyway, regardless. And then if it becomes that, it becomes that. But what I want to see from my team in this final is just absolutely empty the tank. Regardless of West Ham the week after, let's empty the tank and give our fans everything, because then every fan can get right behind what you do in the game. Win, lose or draw, our sole focus will give everything to aim to win.
Mark Skinner, the Manchester United manager, speaking to our senior women's football news reporter Emma Sanders ahead of the League Cup final at Bristol City's Ashton Gate. Next weekend we will have coverage across BBC television, radio and online, and Rachel Brown-Finnis will be part of the television commentary team for that one, and it is a fascinating fixture, isn't it, Rachel? As Emma and Mark were talking about there, so many matchups over recent years between Chelsea and Manchester United at such key times, whether it's FA Cup finals or leagues that can be won and lost, and now they meet in the League Cup final. How do you see that game going?
Well, I think more so than ever before, Manchester United will fancy themselves to go on and win that. Sonia Bonpastor's Chelsea have not been in the best of form this season. Seem to be struggling with balancing WSL form, with obviously in the final of the Subway Cup, but with Champions League as well. Manchester United, on the other hand, I think have done it exceptionally well. And have been really hard, not only to break down, but in Europe, qualified for the latter stages for the first ever time, and have been absolutely exceptional.
I tell you what, let me take over. Basically, listeners, what's happening is we're both taking it in turns to eat a half-time pie, and I've come to Rachel slightly early so that I could have another bite of mine, which is not being a very good teammate, really, is it? I thought you'd finished.
Radio secrets. No, I had. It's just a little tickly cough. But as we welcome the Lionesses back out, Manchester United have been excellent, and a big part of that is May Letitia, who played in the Ukraine game, and particularly Jess Park, who made the switch from the blue side of Manchester to Manchester United and has been in sensational form for Manchester United. And she'll be key to Manchester United potentially lifting that trophy at the weekend.
So, Iceland have made one change at half-time. 23-year-old Maria Olafsdottir is on for Linn Eriksdottir. Olofsdottir, who made her debut last match against Spain as a substitute. She plays for Djurgårdens in Sweden. Their domestic season has just started. And it's worth saying as well, a lot of the players who play for the Swedish teams and the Norwegian teams and the Icelandic teams, they are just starting their domestic seasons. And actually, you know, in terms of the level of competitive match fitness and things like that, it is a little bit of a different prospect in terms of the level that England's players are playing at, although some of those teams that they play for have been playing in the Europa Cup as well and have had a little bit of European competition. But no changes for England at half-time. We'll take you through the lineups in a moment. Iceland in possession as the second half begins here on 5 Sports Extra, kicking from left to right in the bright blue shirts, the white shorts and the bright blue socks. England in their white shirts with the blue and red across the chest, the dark blue shorts again with the white and red trim, and the white socks. And it's England now who have one possession and they are on the ball with Esme Morgan. As I say, we'll take you through the lineups in a moment, but would you have made any changes for England at half time, Rachel?
No, because the only thing they haven't done is execute that final, converting the number of balls that have been put into the box, actually putting it in the back of the net. And that's just down to a little lack of composure, concentration, whatever it is. And Serena Wigman's going to give the likes of Lauren Hemp and Leslie Russo, those who've had those excellent chances, more time on the pitch, because 99% of what England has done has been really exceptional this first half.
It is just the 1-0 by which they lead, courtesy of Lucy Bronze on 21 minutes. And Iceland's in possession with Arna Dottir. And she will, under a bit of pressure from Lauren James, steer it in field to Sigurda Dottir. And out to the right-hand side, and Hermannsdottir, as we mentioned earlier, the daughter of the former Premier League player and FA Cup winner with Portsmouth, Herman Hreidarsson. And that ball forward has too much on it for the substitute Olofsdottir, and Taylor Hines under pressure will clear the ball away, and that will be an Iceland throw deep in England territory. So England with Hannah Hampton in goal, the back four of Lucy Bronze, the goal scorer, Leah Williamson, the captain, Esme Morgan and Taylor Hines. Ahead of them, Kira Walsh sitting deep with Georgia Stanway just ahead of her, and Jess Park in the 10, Lauren James and Lauren Hemp on the wings, and Alessia Russo up top. Iceland with the chance to use the long throw of Sveindis Jonsdottir. She launches it into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's cleared away by Lucy Bronze, only as far as Jonsdottir once again, right-hand side of the penalty area. Back she goes to Arna Dottir, and Jonsdottir chips it in. Hannah Hampton will watch all the way, and good take inside her 6-yard box.
Yeah, good protection from her defenders as well, blocking the runs of the Iceland players. But good early shout, good technique to hang, catch it at its highest point. And the threat for now is over.
Here comes Lauren Hemp down this right-hand side, plays it in field to Kira Walsh on the halfway line. And out to Taylor Hines. England leading by 1-0. Early stages of the second half, 3 minutes gone here on 5 Sports Extras. Lauren James, who has shone and sparkled and dazzled in the first period, lays it off to Kira Walsh, and via Esme Morgan it's all the way back with Hannah Hampton. So Iceland with Runnarsdottir in goal, the back four of Arna Dottir, Vigosdottir, Sigurda Dottir and Hreidarsdottir. Ahead of them, Hermannsdottir, Antonsdottir and Vilhelmsdottir, with Olofsdottir and Jonsdottir now supporting Jessen up top, as Alessia Russo will square that ball out to Leah Williamson. Picked up now by Lucy Bronze, in field to Jess Park. Almost had it taken off her toes by Hreidarsdottir, but England will recycle it towards Georgia Stanway. Good header away at the far post by Arna Dottir, with Stanway right behind her, and it's out of play for an England corner. Good start by England to the second half.
Good start and excellent movement. I like George Stanway playing higher up. We saw that in probably the last 10-15 minutes of the first half, was her joining in as the second midfielder higher up alongside Jess Park. And what we've noticed in this opening few minutes is George Stanway take up the left-hand side and allowing Lauren James to go infield in a more central role to join Jess Park. It's a slight tactical tweaks from England. They'll be hoping they can unlock Iceland.
So corner from this near side, it's poor, it's straight into the arms of Cecilia Runnarsdottir from Georgia Stanway.
Yeah, way too close to the goalkeeper. Last few corners for George Stanway have been really good angle and driven the ball to a particular player. I think it was Lucy Bronze, but on that one, got it wrong, got the angle wrong.
So Iceland in possession inside their own penalty area. They have had some decent results in recent years, Iceland, particularly thinking of the 3-0 victory over Germany in the European Championship qualifiers. Did lose 3-1 away, but that was certainly a result that made people sit up and take notice. They were, in fact, the first team to beat Germany by 3 goals in a competitive game since 2008, when Brazil did it back in the semi-finals of the Olympics. As we say, the tournament itself didn't go very well for Iceland. They finished bottom of their group without any points, but just a warning to England that this is a side, and it is largely the same squad that went to the Euros as well, that's travelled here to Nottingham and the City Ground. It is a side that does have players that have the capability to hurt you if you do switch off. So far England are not doing so, but as Rachel mentioned just before half time, they will be very keen, the Lionesses, to get this second goal and to give themselves a little bit of breathing space in this game. As Lauren James, lovely turn down the left-hand side, easing past the substitute. Olafsdottir digs the delivery out. Russo is there, and so was Bronze. Russo missed it, Bronze didn't. Bronze scoops over on the volley at the far post, and it's another glorious chance for England that goes begging.
Yeah, it's not quite a half chance, but it's better. It's not quite a tap-in. But it's certainly a lot better than a half chance for Lucy Bronze, and she'll be expecting to get that on target. She scored plenty of those in her England and domestic career. Once again, late and fast. Ball provided by Lauren James down the left-hand side. Target is Lucy Bronze. This time cannot convert.
Alessia Russo dispossessed. England have a throw deep in Iceland territory on this left-hand side. Well, they were so ruthless in the second half against Ukraine. They have not been ruthless so far here at the City Ground today. They lead by 1-0. Overall, as Rachel Brown-Finnis says, the performance has in many ways been a lot better than Ukraine, other than the finishing. As they go out to the left-hand side, and Lauren James in field now to Georgia Stanway. And will be picked up by Leah Williamson, plays the ball in, a couple of ricochets, will take it through to Cecilia Runasdottir. I mean, we can start thinking about goal difference at some point. It could be crucial at the end of these World Cup qualifiers. It goes on head-to-head against Spain first, or whoever, we should say. But on paper, look, England and Spain, there's no two ways about it. They are the clear favourites to win this group, one of them. And if neither England or Spain won this group, it would be one of the biggest upsets in women's football history. Here come England. Lauren James, lovely footwork inside the penalty area, gets it back, went for the bottom corner, blocked away by Iceland. Georgia Stanway's going to drive. She was slipping as she let fly. Lauren Hemp now trying to place it and sends it wide. It's another chance for him, another chance for England, and it is still 1-0 against Iceland.
That was beautiful footwork by Lauren James on this left-hand side, cutting in central. Brilliant defending to block the shot of Georgia Stanway. And then Lauren Hemp once again has time down the right-hand side, cuts in on a left foot inside the box, just swerves it wide of that far post. Not being her day yet. She'll be frustrated, getting herself in all the right positions, doing all the right things, just not finding the back of the net.
And it might not be Arsenal's day in the FA Cup, because they had taken the lead at Mansfield Town, but Mansfield have equalised. That is midway through the second half. Well, what an upset that would be. That was a 12:15 kickoff, so as we say, midway through the second half, Mansfield Town 1, Arsenal 1. Here at the City Grounds, it's England who still lead Iceland by 1-0. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Well, Mansfield did beat the mighty Burnley Clarets, to get to this point. So it's always going to be a tough task for Arsenal. What a day, though, hey? For those fans.
Mansfield Town will be hoping that it turns into one of the greatest days in their history. As Leah Williamson plays the ball into the penalty area, Taylor Hines has made a good run, skews the ball across to the far post, kept in by England, now laid off to Jess Park, 12 yards out, but in fact actually the ball has gone out of play, and it's another goal kick to Iceland and another chance for England.
Leah Williamson this time driving the ball to the far post. It's Taylor Hines who comes in late and fast, just leans back. The ball bounces just before she makes contact, and as she leans back, it drives the ball not high over the bar, but doesn't get the contact, doesn't run in and over it and stay over it and keep the ball down.
it was almost like she was caught in two minds between whether to go for goal or whether to cross it, and ended up doing neither, as Iceland win a free kick midway inside their own half. Just as I say that, for Mansfield Town, Arsenal have gone back in front. Eza has put the Gunners ahead once more, but still, as we say, 20 minutes to go in that game in the FA Cup 5th round, as Iceland's in possession with Sigurdardóttir midway through their own half. They are managing to stay in this game in terms of scoreline, but it is not for want of trying. And England have picked it up once more. Here's Esme Morgan out to the left-hand side, and Alessia Russo will play the ball into the area. Goddess Vigersdottir, the Iceland and Bayern Munich captain, clears the ball away only as far as Lauren James. And Vilhelmsdottir will challenge Alessia Russo. Ball goes out of play for an England throw. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
It's been better by England. It's wearing down Iceland. Short, sharp balls. Taylor Hines getting involved down this left-hand side, looking really to advance up the pitch as much as she can. And is doing. Both full-backs flying up and causing Icelandic full-backs to be pinned right back, overloaded with England players.
Here goes Jess Park, lovely turn midway through the Iceland half, and she's gliding past the challengers, lays it off to Taylor Hines, and Lauren James in a bit of space, left-hand side of the penalty area. Hines then almost got in her way to block off that angle for the cross. Now James will dig it out, really good delivery. Runnersdottir on the stretch, can't reach it. Iceland do manage to clear at the far post, and it's out of the penalty area now. Collected once more by Taylor Hines, gets it back from Georgia Stanway. Now Walsh to Hines once more, to Walsh once more, and Stanway. Nice little 1-2s from England, but there's no way through that blue wall of Iceland shirts at the moment, so they go all the way back to Esme Morgan, and it is still 1-0, by which England lead with 12 minutes gone in this second half. And yes, as we say, it does go on head-to-head first in this group, but goal difference could be key. First of all, though, they've got to secure the 3 points, England, and they don't quite feel secure yet against Iceland. They've got the majority of the possession by far, the majority of the chances by far, but all it takes is one Iceland counter and it could be 1-1. Lauren James trying to change that, goes for goal, straight at Runnersdottir.
Yeah, decent strike from Lauren James. Good following in from Lucy Bronze. Too close to Runnersdottir. Nice patient build-up from England. So many Icelandic players congesting areas. Just have to stay patient, it will come.
So Runnersdottir in possession inside the Iceland penalty area. And patience, as Serena Wiegmann said, was potentially going to have to be the name of the game once again, as it was against Ukraine, where it was goalless in the first half, despite England having 40 touches in the opposition box and 85% possession. They ran out in the end 6-1 winners, but we always knew that Iceland were going to be a tougher task. England in many ways have played better than they did in Turkey against Ukraine on Tuesday, and their chances that they haven't converted haven't so much been about great Iceland defending as they were about great Ukraine defending in that first half for the most part on Tuesday. They've been about wastefulness from England. Lucy Bronze's header, the only goal so far. They could have had 5 or 6 England. They've hit the post with Hemp, who's missed a hatful of chances. Other players have had good opportunities as well. The movement's been great. So far, the finishing not so much. What can they do down this left-hand side? It's Georgia Stanway, plays it in field, looking for the captain, Leah Williamson, who sees Lucy Bronze in a bit of space over on the right-hand side as the DJ gets a bit overexcited, and we have a blast of music. So Lauren Hemp plays the ball into the area, cleared away by Iceland, out to that left-hand side. Antonsdottir it was who got there. And Lucy Bronze will build once more down the right-hand side for England. She's got nowhere to go, really, and lays it off to Jess Park, and England have to try and build again with Taylor Hines just outside the centre circle.
That's fine and understandable. It's tight areas. You can't hang on to it. You're going to get caught if you hang on to it. Take an extra touch. England have given over possession now. Just got to stick to their game plan.
Here is Hermannsdottir. That's a nice ball out to the left-hand side, if it can be kept in, which it can't. It's unfortunate for Iceland. Dottir was racing down that left-hand side but couldn't quite keep it in. But a good move from Ida Hermannsdottir, daughter of Herman Hreidarson, the former FA Cup winner with Portsmouth. England have the throw over on the far side.
Yeah, and we saw he's in the crowd here to support his daughter.
Yes, he is in the stands in the City grounds. Watching on, I'm sure, with pride, as his daughter plays for the country that he, of course, played for. Over 300 appearances in the Premier League. Spent time with Portsmouth and Crystal Palace and Brentford, among others. And as we say, FA Cup winners with Portsmouth. Now watching his nation and his daughter trying to get back into this against England. They've won a throw over on the far side. And again, these throws are almost as good as a corner for Iceland because of the distance that Sveindis Jónsdóttir, one of their star players, can get on them. She's got a white towel there. After all that, she takes it short. And now we'll try and use a little bit of space as she gets that ball back, plays the ball into the area, gets a little ricochet on the way through. Brilliant save, Hannah Hampton. Oh, that's superb. The header coming in from the edge of the 6-yard box, and Hannah Hampton, who has had virtually nothing to do all game, pulls off an absolute worldie. It was sailing towards the top corner and it's shoveled away from goal by Hannah Hampton. It was Sandra Jessen up there for Iceland, and Hampton keeps it at 1-0 England.
Hampton's got them out of jail there. Well worked, 2v1 from the throw-in. They worked that situation, Jónsdóttir, and Jessen has a free header. Gets away from Russo, gets in between Williamson and Morgan, powers it, and from 6 yards, the power she got on it to get it round the post, Hannah Hampton has to have done everything technically brilliantly, and she did. She was one of the players of the tournament to help England win the Euros. She's a big game player. Great save from Hampton.
And a big, big save as well from England's number one. And a big moment in the game because, again, we have to reiterate, this is a must-win game for England. They should and could be 5 or 6 ahead. Now they're having to defend this corner. It's a really poor delivery from Iceland and it's cleared away by England. But there we go, Rachel. We say that is just evidence of the danger for England. Just one set piece, one counter for Iceland. They do have the quality to be able to hurt you as that ball forward isn't kept in and goes out of play for an England goal kick. And England cannot finish this game ruining the chances they haven't taken.
That's got to be a wake-up call for England. You cannot let it was a simple set play, it was a throw-in, they were expected it to go long, so they left themselves 2v1 England to Iceland's advantage, which meant they played a short throw, laid it back. It was an easy delivery in. They weren't ready for a cross in. They let players run on their blind sides, got in between, a free header. That cannot happen again, England. That cannot happen again.
So, after almost drawing level, Iceland are going to make a double change. The two players coming on, Emilia Algersdottir plays for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. And Alexandra Johansdottir, who's in action in Sweden, Kristianstads. And Ida Hermansdottir comes off with her father, Herman Hreidarson, watching on in the stands. And also off is Karolina Vilhelmsdottir. So, double change for Iceland. And again, you can hear their fans now. A small pocket of them, they are the ones who are cheering and chanting because Iceland somehow have stayed in this game, largely due to England's wastefulness. That means it's still only 1-0 to the Lionesses, and they have pulled off, or forced Hannah Hampton to pull off, I should say, the best save of the game by an absolute mile. And the quality of that chance means it could easily be England 1, Iceland 1 in a game where England, again, only one side in this group will qualify automatically for the Women's World Cup. And with Spain in this group as well, England cannot afford to slip up against either Iceland or Ukraine to give themselves the best chances of going into those two games with Spain, which in all likelihood will decide the fate of who is going through automatically to the World Cup in Brazil. As the substitute Algersdottir gives away a free kick and England have a set piece midway through their own half. So if you're out there right now, Rachel Brown-Finnis, former number one for England instead of Hannah Hampton, what are you doing? What are you saying to your players here?
Well, I'd be buzzing about the save I just made for a start. No, but seriously, it's about switching on. That was a simple set play that ended up being 2v1 in Iceland's favour. They nearly capitalised on it. England should be ahead, but that's in the first half. Those golden chances have gone. We need to recreate those excellent chances and finish them off.
This is what they're trying to do here, but Lauren Hemp's ball has too much on it for Jess Park, and it's all the way through with Cecilia Runasdottir. And I think what will be so key here is how much will that, yes, it was a fantastic save by Hannah Hampton, give encouragement to Iceland that they can hurt England, because apart from some superb goalkeeping, they would be level here. And they're coming forward again down the left-hand side. Jonsdottir won't reach it. Williamson does instead. It's steered back eventually to Esme Morgan, who should be able to clear for England, who lead by a goal to nil.
Well, I'm just watching Blinkilla Brown, Chloe Kelly and May Letitia go through probably about the last 10 minutes of warm-up. Interesting to see. Chloe Kelly had an amazing impact, particularly in the Euros most recently. It's a devastating effect. We don't have Michelle Adjumang to complement Chloe Kelly in that wonderful duo. It was so successful. But Chloe Kelly coming on could add something for England.
Here was Lauren James down the left-hand side, feeds Stanway. Yes, Hachimang out this season with an ACL. Such a devastating blow for the youngster, and as Rachel says, what a key part she played in that Euros triumph. That 96th minute equaliser against Italy in the semi-final will live long in the memory. Iceland trying to clear the ball away from outside their own penalty area. Bit of a skewed clearance from Olafsdottir and spins out of play. England with the throw. As the England bands raise the tempo inside the City ground, because England need it. England just needs a little bit of a boost. As the attendance is announced, 27,474 here at the City grounds. Here watching England in this Women's World Cup qualifier. They're leading by a goal to nil against Iceland here on 5 Sports Extra. But this second half is not comfortable. Yes, they've still got more possession and more chances, but Iceland, through Jessen's header, have drawn a fabulous world-class save from Hannah Hampton. And had the England goalkeeper not been at her very best, the winner of the Yashin Trophy at the Ballon d'Or Awards last year, FIFA's best goalkeeper as well, BBC Women's Footballer of the Year, had she not been on her top form, then it would be 1-1 in a game that England cannot afford to drop points in, even at this early stage of these World Cup qualifiers, as Lauren James sprays the ball out to the right-hand side for England. And Leah Williamson, the captain, now trying to release her Arsenal teammate Alessia Russo. It's cleared away by Sigurdardottir. Anton Stottir plays it back to Sigurdardottir on the edge of the area. Nice layoff in the centre by the substitute Johansdottir. England will pick it up though eventually on the right hand side, and here is Lauren Hemp. She's got Russo waiting in the centre. Hemp driving down to the byline, can't pull the ball across. It's good defending by Herdesdottir, and she should be able to clear the Iceland left back. And they're playing it around intelligently, Iceland, to Anton Stottir under a bit of pressure. Williamson will intercept that ball forward. Johansdottir will try and win it, but has lost possession once more. And it's with Lauren Hemp on the right-hand side. Lays it off to Kira Walsh, who's getting forward on the right wing. And now Jess Park, but she loses it. It's not been the best game from Park, who was so good against Ukraine, particularly in the second half, and has been excellent for Manchester United this season. Here is Lauren James, who again is having a bit of a quieter second half, having been so outstanding in the first half for England. Can England wrest a bit of momentum, wrest a bit of control away from Iceland, as Williamson has it and plays it back to Morgan on the edge of the centre circle?
You look at edge of the 18-yard box to 10 yards further up the pitch, all the players are there for Iceland. It's hard for England to break through such a tight bank of players.
Taylor Hines needs to be careful here, and is against Olafsdottir. And Williamson will bring it out to the right-hand side, and Lauren Hemp. England need the second goal. They lead by a goal to nil. Hemp in field to Park, little bit of space. Angle for the shot was closed off, though. They know all about how dangerous she is from those sort of areas. Just outside the penalty area, Jess Park. They closed it down quickly, the blue shirts of Iceland. And England will pick it up once more. 30 yards out. Cut back now to Leah Williamson, who had Jonsdottir just lurking behind her and did get the shout that there was a player right behind her. So England work it out to the left-hand side, and Taylor Hines plays it in field to Kira Walsh. Now Leah Williamson once more. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Well, there's going to come a point when Iceland are going to, gamble a little bit. In the last game, the manager brought on 3 forward players to try and get something out of the Spain game, and that's when it really opened up, and Spain ended up getting 3 goals.
Almost opened up there for the substitute Algesdottir. But well read by the England captain Leah Williamson, who steered that ball back to Hannah Hampton to prevent the counter. As they did lose the last game in Spain by 3-0. Iceland, as Russo comes in, very good save by Runarsdottir. Russo went across goal, Runarsdottir equal to it. Here comes Lauren James, blazes over on the angle. Well, a couple of chances in quick succession for England, but it stays. England 1, Iceland 0.
Yeah, decent ball, through ball to Alessia Russo, and it's hit it low and hard. Saved by the right boot of the goalkeeper, goes across the goalkeeper Russo, which then the deflection, the save from the keeper, bounces out to Lauren James. Off of that left-hand side, coming into more central. Good wing play, getting in, make sure in contention for that as it bounces up. Just gets underneath of it.
Good interception by Jonsdottir on the slide. Johansdottir might have caught Lauren Hemp there and did. The referee just gave herself a little bit of thinking time there. Silvia Gasparotti, so foul by the substitute, Johansdottir. And it will be a free kick to England inside the centre circle into the final 19 minutes. England 1, Iceland 0, but it is just starting to feel a touch nervy for the Lionesses here, Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Yeah, until, you know, at 1-0, and when a team's still got well in with a sniff, which Iceland will feel that they are, having known they should have scored past Hannah Hampton 5-10 minutes ago. And yeah, it's a little bit nerving. It will be. Serena Wiegman's the coolest person usually in the whole place, but I'm sure she's getting a little bit agitated, knowing her team should have an extensive lead. But don't. Is she going to make changes? Does she stick with the same players who've created so many chances?
Good block by Ásgeirsdóttir. And it will be a throw to England just on the halfway line. And England preparing to make some changes. It looks as though Chloe Kelly is going to be entering the field here at the City Ground as Runarsdottir, the Iceland goalkeeper, clears away. Helped out of play. Not the best clearance in the end by Johansdottir. Goes out of play for an England throw. Right in front of Serena Wiegman, who claps her hands together, standing there with her arms crossed behind her back in her purple puffer jacket. As Rachel Brown-Finnis says, she is a calm person, inside and out. She doesn't panic, but she will know that England are in a slightly precarious position here. They lead by 0-0. They've had so many chances to move further ahead, to give themselves the real foothold in this game. And it's worth saying as well, it was a superb chance for Iceland for Jessen and a superb save by Hannah Hampton. That is their only real chance of the game that they've had. But it just shows it came from a set piece. That's all they need to do, Iceland, is go up, win another one and see what happens. And that is why there feels like there's jeopardy for England unless they can get this second goal. And that's what they're trying to do. Out to the left-hand side. Here's Lauren James. Approaching the penalty area. She's got Stanway there as an option. James, the ball just sticking to her feet at the moment past Ólafsdóttir. Good delivery. Russo again can't get clean contact, and it's cleared away by Sandra Jessen, who has put in a real shift. She's slotting into the defence when Iceland are having to defend. Then at set pieces, she's getting forward to join the attack. She's such a versatile player. She can play defensively, she can play as a forward.
Well, she's playing as a left back in a back six as it stands, and I'm not exaggerating. That is the lineup that Iceland, you know, have adopted. And as you said, Jónsdóttir is remaining in that central role. Jessen is sitting back when they're out of possession, which is most of the time. But they're willing to do that role. They're working so hard, Iceland.
Yeah, she's over on the left wing now, yes, and as Rachel says, when Iceland then go out of position, they do drop back. And it is essentially a back six with Ólafsdóttir and Jessen coming to help out, and that is why England are finding them so hard to break down. As we have 16 minutes for added time to play in this second half, Chloe Kelly is putting that white England 17 shirt on with Kelly emblazoned above it. She's about to come on. Here come England down this left-hand side. It's Georgia Stanway. They look for this second goal against Iceland in this Women's World Cup qualifier here on 5 Sports Extra. Lauren James to send the ball in. It's cleared away by the Iceland captain, Glodis Berla Vigersdóttir. And they'll send it forward to Ásgeirsdóttir. And the referee has flagged for offside, and it will be a free kick to England. And it will be a substitution for England. Lauren James is coming off, and Chloe Kelly, the heroine of the Euros, not just last summer, but back in 2022 as well, is going to come on. But just a word on Lauren James's overall performance, Rachel.
She's been absolutely exceptional, not only as an individual, but how teammates around her and her with her teammates, the understanding that we've seen has been built. Her shooting has been excellent. The way she provided gilt-edged chances for Lauren Hemp, particularly in that first half, left-footed in-swingers. She's been absolutely brilliant. I think top of your list, flipping to the substitute Chloe Kelly, of things you do not want to see if you are Heiðarsdóttir at left back, is number 17 Chloe Kelly come on as a substitute for the last 20 minutes.
So something for Iceland to think about in terms of Chloe Kelly coming forward. Can they give something to England, something to think about? Not with that particular ball forward, looking for Heiðarsdóttir. Goes out of play for an England throw. They are going to make another change though, and Dilia Zommers is going to be coming on. They've got nothing to lose here, Iceland. Jónsdóttir, who's worked hard and is one of their star players, but has been looking a little isolated up top, is replaced by Zommers.
I'm surprised because for throw-ins alone, it offers another angle of an element of danger that England would have to deal with. But Dilia Zommers will be a real focal point.
Yep, she plays for the reigning Norwegian champions Brann. She's 24 years old. Their domestic season is just about to start. So another who's just in the different phase of the season compared to all these England players who are obviously approaching the conclusion of the WSL season. And likes of Georgia Stanway playing in Germany as the ball is swung in. That's a great delivery. And it just split the difference between Alessia Russo and Chloe Kelly and allowed Cecilia Runarsdottir to claim. But for all the world, it looks as though England might have been in there to score the second.
What a brilliant ball. Lauren Hemp looks, checks again. Where's the danger area? Second 6-yard box, yes. Alessia Russo just doesn't make the run towards the near post to connect with the line of the ball. Another half chance for England.
Still, the one goal from Lucy Bronze on 21 minutes separates these sides as England have possession on the halfway line. Here is Taylor Hines, gets it back from Georgia Stanway, and now out to the left-hand side, and Chloe Kelly, who has not had as much game time as she would like this season, either for England or for Arsenal, but so often, as Rachel touched on before, can make the huge difference off the bench, as she did at the Euros. Can she do it here? As Lucy Bronze plays the ball in, and Russo leads it. Stanway! What a super finish! And that could be the goal that secures the 3 points for England. They have had chance after chance after chance here in Nottingham against Iceland, and finally they take a second one. Finally they lead by 2 goals to nil. A super first-time finish from Georgia Stanway.
Excellently, brilliantly executed goal from Georgia Stanway. And the tried and tested combination of Lauren Hemp to Lucy Bronze to Georgia Stanway. I mean, that is as England as you get. Absolutely no chance. A thumping finish, beautiful play from Lauren Hemp down the right-hand side, just lays it down the right for Lucy Bronze, who caresses the ball into the box. Georgia Stanway times her run brilliantly from the left-hand side to central, calls off Alessia Russo, who could have headed it or attempted to head it at the near post, and Georgia Stanway just thunders it home low and hard past Runarsdottir. Textbook from England.
Super volley from Stanway into the bottom corner. And as Rachel touched on there, it was a great lead from Russo as well. You never get an assist for those sort of things, but it's so important that Russo doesn't make any attempt to play that ball, not because she's offside, but because any touch on that and it takes it out of Stanway's path and means it doesn't sit up as sweetly.
This team is exactly that. It's a team. The spread of goals in the Euros, the spread of goals, in the last game, 3 players, 2 goals each. They work so well together. So if you get a shout, you trust that your teammate is in a better position to get a shot on goal than you are. And that's exactly what Alessia Russo does.
And England finally can breathe a little easier. They had that real scare from Jessen's header, which called Hampton into world-class action in the second half. But now they lead by 2-0, and they still look to extend their advantage, but just playing with more freedom now as that ball into Georgia Stanway is cleared away by her Bayern Munich teammate Vigga Stottir. Out to the right-hand side, and Olive Stottir will pick it up for Iceland, but from an Iceland perspective, they will think back to that chance for Jessen, that superb save by Hannah Hampton, as the moment that this game pretty much in the end, in hindsight, has got away from them.
They have to be relentless and ruthless now. They have to put the crush on Iceland and just not... That door is solidly locked shut, chained shut, no life, no light for them at all. Don't give them anything, no possession, no half chances, nothing. England really have to really assert themselves on this game. They've got a bit of a gap now with that 2-goal lead, but they deserve more and they need to earn more and keep working hard to do so.
Well, they will be sitting top of this group ahead of Spain's match against Ukraine later. Goal difference will be looking healthy.
And it could come down to that, Vic, because there's been nothing between England and Spain. You know, look at World Cup finals, look at European Championships. They've all gone to extra time. They've, you know, and obviously that doesn't happen in a World Cup qualifier. So they could easily end up being 0-0s or 1-1s, England against Spain. And therefore, it does come down to the goal difference in these other games, the games against Ukraine and the games against Iceland.
Here goes Taylor Hines, plays it forwards to Georgia Stanway, now back to Kira Walsh. England leading Iceland by 2-0 here in Nottingham on 5 Sports Extra. And of course, England have had that experience before. I remember a few years ago, that crazy scenario when it was the Netherlands and England for top spot in the group, and it came down to goal difference, and England were playing Scotland, and late goals were going in as England try and get in the penalty area here. And Lauren Hemp manages to feed Lucy Bronze, lays it off to Russo, brilliant block by Vigga Stottir, spins out to the right-hand side, and Hemp will allow that to bounce behind for the corner. All that to say, England had been in a position before where they've gone into a final round of group games knowing that they need to score big, and knowing that in the end somebody else just outscored them in the other game. They don't want to go into their final round of games here, which was them at home to Ukraine and Spain away to Iceland, thinking, gosh, well, we've got to win by 5 or 6 here, because in the end, in that particular time a few years ago when it was between themselves and the Netherlands, they just lost out and ended up finishing runners-up. As they have a corner over on this far side. The first job is getting the 3 points. They do look well set for that now with 7 minutes to play, leading by 2-0 against Iceland. Can they get another goal? It's Chloe Kelly to take this corner from the far side. As the referee eventually blows her whistle, and Kelly will drive it in. It's a poor delivery. It's cleared away by Jessen and will be collected by Jess Park and then Esme Morgan on the halfway line. England 2, Iceland 0. Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Well, Laura Blinkiller-Brown is getting her final instructions before she comes on. Been exceptional this season alongside Hasegaard, particularly for Manchester City. That move from Aston Villa, playing as a regular holding midfielder, can play as a more attacking midfielder as well. Interesting to see whether she comes on for Jess Park or Georgia Stanway. Both will want us down the pitch and get more goals.
Good work by Lauren Hemp down this left-hand side. Just won a corner for England. It's Chloe Kelly getting some big cheers from the England fans. Near that corner away to our left, plays it short this time to Jess Park, and here's Chloe Kelly once again. Bit of space for Kira Walsh. If the ref gets out of the way, she can have a go, and she does have a go. Well, she scored her first Chelsea goals this season. A couple of them, both have come against Tottenham. When she does score, they tend to be crackers. And I think if the ref had moved out of her line of vision, that might have been a bit closer to the target. But it sails over. It remains 2-0 to England against Iceland, and here comes that change. Jess Park coming off and Laura Blinkiller-Brown coming on.
Yeah, Jess Parker's got herself in a lot of useful areas. There's been used as a decoy more than anything. Hasn't got on the ball and driven at the back line as much as she did against Ukraine in that wider position. That's because it's been so congested in that central area. Blinkilla Brown will come on with some additional instruction.
So Iceland again playing their goal kick short, now long up towards halfway, and Algersdottir bounces off the head of Taylor Hines, and it will be a throw to Iceland right in front of Serena Wiegmann. 5 minutes plus added time to play here on 5 Sports Extra. And it is England who still lead by 2-0. That goal just a few moments ago from Georgia Stanway just means that the whole complexion of this game feels a little bit more comfortable, although Jessen was almost in there for Iceland, and England struggling to clear here. Here's Algersdottir, field looking for Ólafsdóttir, but the ball can't reach her. Intercepted by Antonsdóttir, but cleared away by Esme Morgan on the edge of the penalty area. And now Alessia Russo feeds Lauren Hemp, who goes all the way back to Lucy Bronze. They're not going to force anything here, England, but they are still, wherever possible, playing on the front foot and trying to add to this 2-goal lead against Iceland as we approach the closing stages here in Nottingham.
Yeah, a bit of danger there, extinguished by England. Long ball from Esme Morgan, but it was Russo's touch just on the edge of the halfway line. A touch away from the player to maintain possession, a really difficult pass. And that's the dirty work that a 9 has to do, not just scoring goals.
Here come England down this right-hand side. It's cleared away by Sigurdardottir. And now to play for an England throw, which Lucy Bronze prepares to take. Bronze, who got things underway for England midway through the first half with a super header. Stanway's exquisite volley late in this second half looks to have set England on their way to all 3 points, which will keep them top of this group, ahead of Spain playing Ukraine later. They'll have a healthy goal difference as well, having beaten Ukraine 6-1 in Turkey on Tuesday. Spain 3-0 winners over Iceland on the same day. And again, a reminder, we can't say it enough, only the top team in this group goes straight through to the World Cup next year. Spain, the reigning world champions. England, the World Cup runners-up to Spain 2.5 years ago. One of them will be on the playoffs. That's the reality. At least one. As Lauren Hemp can't keep that ball in. But should Spain beat Ukraine later, should England see this one out against Iceland, it is going to be in this group how we thought it would be, between England and Spain for top spot.
Absolutely. A mouth-watering prospect of the 2 games, England against Spain.
Yes, it is their penultimate game away to Spain in June, England. It is their next game at home, at Wembley, 14th of April. What a game that is going to be. What a venue to host it in. What a worthy venue. The world champions against the European champions. They just seem to meet each other so much at the moment. As Serena Wiegmann says, we just can't get rid of them. We meet in finals, we meet in qualifying campaigns.
I know, to have 2 of the best teams in the world in the same group for European qualifying for the World Cup is just doesn't quite seem right, does it?
Well, this is what England need to do as they concede the throw. It's actually gone the way, well, the assistant has said it's gone the way of Iceland, and in the referee agrees. So Iceland with the throw midway through their own half. England leading by 2-0. 2 minutes to play in this Women's World Cup qualifier. The main thing is to win the group and get directly to the World Cup. As Iceland make a change, Berglind Augustsdottir is replacing Hilda Antonsdottir. But it's also about trying to get that first seeded position going into the next round, which will be the Nations League, because Lucy Bronze is one of the players who's talked about this in the past. England keep finishing runners-up in these groups, whether it's Euro qualifiers, whether it's World Cup qualifiers, whether it's Nations League. That means that they always end up in a group with one of the top seeds, like Spain, like Germany, like France. Invariably, at the moment, it seems to be Spain, but they're kind of stuck in this runners-up slot when it comes to qualifying, and it always puts them slightly on the back foot when it comes to the next cycle.
Yeah, you argue that then, yes, they get to the World Cup final and obviously won the Euros back-to-back, but that's the detail that Lucy Bronze wants to improve on. The whole England team wants to improve on, and I'm sure that kind of breakdown of improvement has come from Serena Wiegmann and her technical staff demanding better of her team.
Well, they are leading by 2-0 here in Nottingham, as that ball isn't quite effectively cleared by Iceland, but won't drop kindly for Alessia Russo or Chloe Kelly. Kelly will recycle on the left-hand side of the area, played forward by Hines, and now Stanway, whose super volley in the second half looks to have made the 3 points safe for England as we enter the final 30 seconds plus added time. England leading by 2-0. And Taylor Hines will play it in field now to Kira Walsh. Iceland still working hard in the blue shirts. This will be disappointment for them, but they will take so much encouragement, I think, from the fact that it stayed 1-0 for so long, although that was more England's wastefulness than anything else. They fashioned a great chance through Jessen. Brilliant save at 1-0 by Hannah Hampton. As England play the ball into the area, and Runasdottir is there to claim before it can reach Russo. But they knew, Iceland, coming into this qualifying campaign, that they and Ukraine below them as well were huge underdogs in a group with England and Spain. From their perspective, it's a nightmare group when it comes to those first and second seeds. But they are a side, as Rachel said before kick-off, that always tends to be at European Championships, has been to the last 5 editions. As Lucia Kendall is going to try and get on as we enter 3 minutes of added time. Let's see if the ball goes out of play, to see if she can come on as England's substitution. Her final one in this game, as Laura Blinkilla-Brown plays it forward to Chloe Kelly on the spin, can't quite control, and Sigurdardóttir will pick it up for Iceland. Nice ball out to Ásgeirsdóttir. Central position in this midfield. Now midway through the England half, runs into trouble in the shape of Chloe Kelly, but does retain possession. And played back by Jóhannsdóttir to Sigurdardóttir. Out to the left-hand side as Iceland work it once more. And Lucia Kendall, I don't know if she's going to get on here, because we've already played a minute, the minimum 3 added on, as Iceland and Jessen will pursue that ball into the penalty area, and Hannah Hampton comes out on the slide and gathers. England 2, Iceland 0. Rachel Brown-Phillips.
Well, it's been excellent. We're watching Lucia Kendall and about to come on, hopefully coming on, and seeing Taylor Hines complete the first 90 minutes for England. The youth, the young players coming through, and, you know, of course, Taylor Hines has had quite a reasonably long domestic career, and it's taken her a while to cement a place in this senior England team. But the pathway is certainly working, just as Spain's pathway has developed and as the infrastructure and foundations around youth football has grown. So it is in our country, in England. We've never had as many girls and women playing football than we have today. And it's only looking inspiring and better for the future.
England have given the ball away here. Ásgeirsdóttir will send it out to the left-hand side, but that touch just let her down, and Chloe Kelly is going to go for goal from range. Good jump by Sigurdardóttir, and it bounces all the way through to the goalkeeper, Cecilia Runasdottir, close down by Laura Blinkilla-Brown. And Runasdottir, all in black, will pick it up and launch it over the halfway line. The England backroom staff are putting the big purple puffer jacket back on Lucia Kendall. Oh no, she is going to get on. Well, that's hilarious. We thought there that the referee had blown 30 seconds early for full time. In fact, it was for an offside. Lucia Kendall had just put her purple puffer jacket back on, but she is going to get the final 30 seconds of this game, and she's coming on for the scorer of a very precious goal for England in the second half, because it did put the game beyond Iceland, Georgia Stanway.
Yeah, and it was an excellent technical finish from Georgia Stanway, locked ankle, brilliant run from the outside to in to get across her marker, solid strike. Georgia Stanway has just been such a dependable England player since day one when she made her debut as a teenager. And Lucia Kendall does get on the pitch.
So Esme Morgan plays the ball out to the right-hand side. Here is scorer of England's first goal, Lucy Bronze. Plays it in field to Kira Walsh, and now back to Bronze once more. Williamson to send it in. It's cleared away just about by Jóhannsdóttir and stabbed forward by Ásgeirsdóttir. They just can't get out of their own half at the moment, Iceland. Do England have chance for one more attack here as they look to make it 3-0 in this Women's World Cup qualifier? The 3 points are theirs, but goal difference they'll have half an eye on, but the referee's got half an eye on her watch, and there is the full-time whistle. And England make it 2 from 2 in World Cup qualifying for the tournament in Brazil next year. Victory over Ukraine, followed up here in Nottingham with a 2-0 win over Iceland. They had a hatful of chances. It could have been more comfortable. They had a real scare at 1-0 up when Hannah Hampton made a world-class save from Sandra Jessen's header, but in the end, Georgia Stanway's superb volley late in this second half, added to Lucy Bronze's header in the first, means it finishes in Nottingham, England 2, Iceland 0, Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Yeah, a lot to be proud of from that performance, a lot of positives to take out of this international window, in particular today. A clean sheet was something that Hannah Hampton and the back line, the defence, the team were disappointed with conceding against the Ukraine, much to their delight. But today, by no means flawless. They depended on a big save at a big key, potentially turning point of the game from Hannah Hampton. But England in the first half in particular created 3, 4, even 5 chances where they would expect to have scored. They didn't score, but they stayed resolute, they were patient, and ultimately came out victors, which ahead of the game would have been absolutely the demand of this England team.
So stay with us here on 5 Sports Extra. We're going to stay here at the City Ground. We're going to pick over that game. We're going to look forward to what England have coming up. Rob Schofield has gone down to the tunnel, so we're hoping to get some post-match reaction with Serena Wiegmann and a couple of the players. But England's Lionesses now preparing to do their lap of appreciation around the City Ground. Over 27,000 have turned out in Nottingham here today to watch them on. But before that, they're going to go into their huddle, and Serena Wiegmann will address the side. Well, what do you think her message will be, Rachel, to these players at this point?
First and foremost, the result is what is most important. They have dispatched of Iceland as they would have, everybody around it would have expected them to do so if they were at their best. And at times, England were at their best. It was difficult at times to break down Iceland, but in that team talk there, she'll be reaffirming the positives, reaffirming probably the messages she said at half-time, which they have to be more ruthless, they have to be more precise. And Georgia Stanway's goal was probably what Serena Wiegmann wanted to see more of. A definite run, a real 100% all-in run from Georgia Stanway, communicating with Alessia Russo to leave it so that she could execute that brilliantly. There's just a little added focus in that second half, and as difficult as it was, her players should be very proud of her players today.
We've got to talk about that save from Hannah Hampton again. For anyone who's just joined us since it happened live in commentary, you can rewind on BBC Sounds. It was at 1-0 up shortly before Georgia Stanway scored England's second on 78 minutes. But just talk us through it again, Rachel Brown-Finnis, because it was honestly world class from Hampton. And we were speaking about it earlier in commentary, when I said, well, she's had nothing to do so far. And you quite rightly said, well, you're focusing and you're concentrating on the game and you're seeing what you can do in terms of distribution and all that. But how hard is it, A, to pull off a save like that, but B, to pull off a save like that in a game where you're almost barely warmed up in terms of having to make saves because you've had so little goal-mouth action to deal with?
No, so you're not warmed up. What you're doing throughout, whether you rightly say that the goalkeeper is not particularly involved, but what you do is actively involve yourself in the game as a goalkeeper. You have to, because if mentally you are not 100% engaged with what our back line is doing, exactly at the right times, know who's in possession, who's out of possession, all the pictures and the scenarios that you're painting in your brain as to what's going to happen next, so that you can be in exactly the right position should something happen, then you won't make that save. It's not necessarily producing the technique at the right time for Hannah Hampton. It was all the things that came before that, so that she was in the right position. She'd seen the line of the ball, she'd seen the run of the player who was going to be heading it, and she got herself in the right position. She got herself set at exactly the right time so she could power up and power out. And it's not just sticking an arm out by any means, it's about planting your feet in the right direction. It's about shooting your arm out in the right direction. If you shoot your arm out directed to the right, the power of the ball is going to take it back. You have to shoot your arm out kind of forwards in a sort of a 45-degree angle, so that the buffer of the power of the header brings your arm back to a position where the ball still goes around the post. So there's so much kind of detail that goes into making a save like that actually, if you don't do the 90% of the preparation to be in the right place at the right time, you ain't going to do the tiny percentage which is actually making the save. So all credit to Hannah Hampton, because you lose focus at any tiny second throughout all of that sequence, you ain't making that save, and she did, and that's why she's one of the world's best goalkeepers.
And I think for me, as well as obviously not a former England number one, just as a layman who enjoys watching football, it was the strength that she got on it as well. Because, I mean, you said at the time, the power that Jessen got on the header was superb. And to not only react quickly enough to reach the ball, but also to have the strength in those fingertips to push it past the woodwork and behind for the corner, it was outstanding.
Well, that's relentless training, simple as that. You know, as much as we do goalkeeper sessions on reactions and position and technical stuff, you're in the gym every single day as well, doing those robustness exercises, those rotator cuff exercises. Not only protect your shoulder joints, they make sure that, you know, you are really strong in those situations. I mean, like, I try and do yoga still now, and on a regular basis, and my wrists still don't bend far enough like normal people. But that's because for 20 years of my career, I've been strengthening my forearms and my hands so that my fingers and hands are really strong. And so I just don't have the mobility for that. It's relentless work in the gym all the time off the pitch in preparation for these big moments. Like we've always said and will always say, if you skip the detail of any sort of session, you won't reap the benefits of the detail in a big moment like Hannah Hampton just had.
Well, it came at such a crucial moment in the game. England were leading 1-0 in the second half. For all the world, Jessen said it looked like it was heading in to make it 1-1 in a game that, again, we have to reiterate, England had to win, given how competitive this group is going to be, with Spain, the reigning world champions, in it as well, and with only one side going through automatically to the World Cup. As England's players do complete their lap of honour here in Nottingham, and Lauren James and Lucy Bronze, who've just been doing the television interview, walk away and put on those big purple puffer jackets. Just a word on their performances today. Lauren James, and first Lucy Bronze, who scored the first goal for England.
Yeah, just watched Lucy Bronze do an interview in one of the staff jackets. She'd whipped off a shirt to be able to swap with one of the Iceland players. That's quite ominous. Surely Lucy Bronze, you know, she's still got plenty of playing time left in her, but will be in and around the England setup for pretty much ever, I'd suggest. But on today's performance, a key, crucial goal, and how many times have we said that? Lucy Bronze, key, crucial goals, you know, numerous times. She knows what it takes, what is demanded, what she demands from players to get over the line, to actually get results. A combination play with Lauren Hemp in particular down the right-hand side, I thought was exceptional. And, you know, we've seen her. She embodies what it is to be a leader on this team, to drag everybody with you, to be unrelenting. You know, the amount of mileage that she does down that right-hand side, but at the right times has exceptional quality as well. You know, she'd have expected, with the chances she had, maybe to get more than one goal, because she probably did have the chance to do that. And she always demands almost impossible standards of herself. But once again, a real key player in today's result.
And Lauren James, I think, again, just shining so much for England. And I think when she is on form, she is one of the best players in the world to watch, and the quality of the deliveries that she put in today, particularly in the first half. She was a little quieter in the second half. Overall, the second half felt a little bit different for England as a team, but the quality of her deliveries was just relentless.
She's a smiley watch, is Lauren James, as in, you know, when she's on the pitch, you sit there smiling, thinking, wow, this is absolutely brilliant. You know, for fans to watch it live, to see just the grace which she moves with. Her balance is absolutely fantastic. The skill set, the vision, the runs that she sees, the patterns of movement that she sees. She's a truly exceptional player, and now England and Chelsea have got her back fit and hopefully can string together consistent amounts of minutes on the game, in the games both domestically and for England. She was a joy to watch in that first half. The deliveries into the box, I don't think any of them were not exceptional. And she's going to be she is a star already, but to have her fully fit for the next World Cup, I'm being presumptuous there. We're in early stages of qualifying. But Lauren James is an absolute star, and thoroughly enjoy watching her when she's on song like she was today.
Just going back to Lucy Bronze, I mean, she is 34 years of age, so she's got a way to go in terms of James Milner sort of levels. But She almost feels in many ways like she could be the James Milner of the women's game in terms of going on longevity-wise. You know, we're seeing Milner becoming the records Premier League appearance maker, and you just wonder how many records Lucy Bronze is going to make going on. Rachel's thoughts on that in a moment, but let's head down to the tunnel here at the City Grounds where Rob Schofield is waiting.
Where Vicky, Lucy Bronze is with me. Lucy, how was that? Enjoyable? That you had a real good time out there?
Yeah, it was good. I feel like in the first half we maybe should have put the ball in the back of the net a few more times. A bit icy at 1-0, but it was nice to get the second goal and just, really comfortable in the end.
Your header almost seemed to have that message behind it in an emphatic finish. Was that very much the feeling? You just felt like too many chances had gone by?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, especially myself, I had a few headers in the first half and some of the hits off the corners as well. But I think it was really important to get that first goal in the first half because Iceland were quite well organised. You saw right at the end that Hannah had to make a really good save to keep us in the game. But yeah, just pleased to get 3 points because we know we're in a tough group.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of messaging and talk about kind of patience, not getting frustrated. Was that almost a perfect display of that today? Even in the second half, like you say, when the game was a little bit more in the balance, you had to wait and then get that second. Yeah,
definitely. And I think we maybe created a few too many unforced errors in the second half. We had to tidy that up again. I think once we did that, that's when the second goal came. Sorry, but yeah, I mean, it was just like I say, important to get the win, to be patient, and to just believe that we've got the quality to win these kind of games.
And for you, a really valuable kind of international break, I'm sure. How good are you feeling out there? And just reassure me, no broken bones that you're keeping from us this time.
No, not today. I mean, I've been struggling to get back fit after the broken bone, but just nice to get back on the pitch for England. A really good camp for us. A lot of really good performances, both individually and collectively as the team. So I think we're really happy how it's went.
Great stuff. Thanks, Lucy. Thank
you.
Well played.
Thanks very much, Rob. Rob live in the tunnel with Lucy Bronze. I think one of the things that endears her so much to England fans, one among many, is that you can just tell from listening to her how much she loves to play for her country.
She's literally broken bones for a country, and the iconic images of this last summer in Switzerland, in particular of Lucy Bronze and what she laid on the line to win that tournament with her team. She's absolutely embodies what it is to be a lioness. The never say die attitude, the relentless determination, the never-ending belief in her teammates, the willingness to be able to kill a game off with quality, but also to rescue a game by grabbing it by the scruff of its neck and doggedly being determined to get your team back into it. She is just an unbelievable, superhuman example of what it is to be a lioness. For so many years, my childhood memory of what it meant to play for England was embodied by Stuart Pearce and him making that iconic, taking that iconic penalty from way too many years ago. But roaring like a lion at the delight of scoring that penalty for his country. And now we have the modern day Lucy Bronze, who is exactly that, and certainly has the longevity to say even more in a time when she's seen women's football change from semi-professional to fully professional to being European champions, and with aspirations of winning World Cups and Olympics and European Championships again. So a whole new set of benchmarks that Lucy Bronze has brought into the modern era.